All right, welcome in. ACC Media Day is here, and that means college basketball is not too far away. We will have absolutely everybody will have you covered. ACC, every coach, all the players, everybody will be here over the next 2 days. We'll see you the next 3 hours today. Then we're going to go from 9 till 4 o'clock tomorrow. And we have a star-studded cast today of former ACC legends. I'm going to start with the elder statesman.
There you go.
Right, the 53-year-old.
53.
Randolph Childress.
There you go. Who's
got his number retired at Wake Forest, the number 22. He was an All-American back 100 years ago. And he's here. We'll go next in order.
Of greatness. So
we're going to go to Psycho
Go ahead and skip this.
I'm going in age.
You guys
Actually,
go over.
he might hear it then maybe.
I'm going age. 39-year-old, almost 40.
Hanging on to the 30s.
Tyler Hansbrough over there, Psycho T. Three-time first-team All-American. Maybe the best player college basketball has seen over the last 2 decades.
Maybe.
Professor Tyler Hansbrough. We'll get into that later. Professor Tyler Hansbrough is here joining us, former Carolina legend. And we got another Carolina legend next to him. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, first-round pick, John Henson, Carolina Tar Heels. So we got a heavy Carolina contingent over there. And then we got the guy that once outscored Tyler Hansbrough in a head-to-head matchup between Clemson and North Carolina.
That's the lone thing. That's all you need. I'm good with it.
20 points for Tyler. You beat him by like 25, so it really didn't matter.
So he didn't play.
He did play.
He played a few minutes.
I have a couple pictures from that game in my office, but I had 20 in the first half and then went 0 for the world in the second half. You probably don't remember that, but
all right, so
I remember it very vividly.
The real intro here, former Clemson legend, sharpshooter, Terrence Oglesby here too. So we've got a heavy ACC presence on the field of 68, and we're going to get into it here soon. Virginia Tech, we're going to start off with the Hokies, who I think, trust me, you're going to want to listen to this from Mike Young, because he's got a freshman, guys, that could just be the best player in the league. Could be the best player in the league. So we're going to hear from him soon. We'll also hear from some Virginia Tech players. But first, I want to talk about the league for a few minutes overall. And we've been talking about how the ACC has been down for the last few years. And I know you guys, man, it's been hard for you guys to watch this thing. It has.
We've been battling
for you, huh?
Yeah, we're not hard for you. Jeff's over there swimming in glory.
No,
outside of that, we've been battling tooth and nail. I think these four.
Jeff on a 2-bit league.
That's right. That was crazy. That was just crazy talk.
Listen, this league is what college basketball has been built on. Right? So it has been difficult, but I think the league's coming back. I really believe it's coming back with the resurgence of Louisville.
Yes.
And now NC State hiring Will Wade, Virginia hiring Ryan Odom. I think now you're going to see this league start to get back to what it used to be.
I agree with that. And I think there's one other thing I'd add that I think people aren't talking about as much. I think the House settlement has helped this league financially. I think there was such a large gap with the SEC when football and what that did. And I thought the House settlement, now you're going to see, I think, 7 or 8 teams in the ACC make the NCAA tournament because of that. Now financial gap has been closed.
I absolutely.
7 or 8.
I'm going 8.
I'm going 7.
I'm going 8. I think
7.
the league is going to be a lot better. I think one of the things that I saw over the summer was, certain schools found their coach and they're just giving them more money. So I think that's going to be number one with Virginia Tech whenever we talk to Mike Young. But I like this league to get 8 in. It's going to be much more competitive, especially in the non-conference. I like the way some of these teams have scheduled. It's going to be really fun to watch. And we talk about Ryan Odom at Virginia. We talk about Will Wade at NC State. Guys, Miami made a heck of a hire.
For sure.
Jay Lucas, he was around our recruiting class, or at least in that age range. Yeah, I mean, really good player. Has turned into a really good coach. Now he gets his opportunity to be a head guy after being a high-level assistant for a long time.
Yeah, just an infusion of new blood, new coaches, young coaches, kind of coaches that they pull from other places. And, just looking at all the incoming portal guys, I mean, the league is more talented. It's deeper. I think the last couple of years, people kind of talking smack about the ACC. The schools took heed and they said, all right,
that's good, because we're going to talk a lot about you guys' school in a minute.
That's cool. That's good. We can have a chat about that.
Well, for me, this isn't a top-heavy league this year. I'm with you guys. I think 6 to 8 teams. I think Duke's going to get tested more. This isn't just going to be where Duke just dominates the league and they're going to represent the whole ACC. I love the hires. I love the Will Wade hire in particular. Being a Carolina guy, I think NC State is going to have a great coach for their fan base and also a guy who knows how to win. I like the Ryan Odom hire at Virginia as well. I think he's gonna take over, and he's got some good incoming guys. They work the portal really well, and the NIL wealth is spread out. And I think the ACC is just a matter of time before they figure it out and represent us like they always have on the big stage.
All right, so you guys are saying 7 or 8, and I think we can agree on like 4, clearly.
Clear 4.
Okay, clear 4: Duke, Louisville, NC State, and Carolina. Is Carolina one of those, though? Are we saying Carolina is an absolute lock to get in the tournament, or are they more in the realm of Virginia, maybe a Syracuse, some of those other schools? I don't know where to put Carolina yet, because while I think their front court, they've addressed some of those problems, I think there's still some questions with their backcourt now.
They're in with me. I'll let you take that because I'm not listening to Jeff. It's too early. It's too early for this. I'm not doing this with Jeff.
We're 7 minutes in.
I mean,
it's
just
too early to agree. Are you kidding me?
It's tough because on paper, right, that should be a tournament team.
And they got money.
And
they have money.
The only thing that
blank check money.
It worries me is the guard play, the turnovers. Even in the scrimmage yesterday, I was kind of reading about it. Yeah. A lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play on the perimeter. So that needs to be cleaned up, but I think this is a tournament team, like top 4.
I mean, it better be.
It better be.
I'm hesitant, and I'm with Jeff on this. They're not a lock. They have a lot to prove. They definitely brought in some size. My question mark would be the point guard. Point guard play. Yep. And my other question mark would be they've added a lot of length, but do they have a bully? Do they have a guy that can go up against the Houstons and bang and win ugly? I'm not sure they've proven that.
I like some of the pieces they added. You talk about somebody, he loves the beast on the block. Henry Visar tries to dunk everything. Now, is he this Tyler Hansbrough, I'm going to put my shoulder in your chest and score every time I'm down there? No, he's not that. But what he is he's a strong roller. He's a lob threat, vertical spacer. He could step out and shoot it too. I had a chance to watch Kyan Evans, a guy they brought in from Colorado State last year several times.
Yeah, what do you think of him?
I think he's really, really good, and I thought he was put in a position to succeed at Colorado State because the first year he got to learn behind Isaiah Evans, and then he played alongside Neek Clifford, who's both of those guys are now with the Kings. He was ready to take a step for Nico Medved, who's not in Minnesota. He ends up coming to Carolina. They might get the best version of him because all the natural talents there, the quickness, the IQ, and the ability to knock down shots. Shot north of 40% from 3 last year.
That's why I said I'm just a bigger fan of Kyan Evans than most people are. I think people are looking at the roster thinking it's a question mark, and I don't. I think he's ready to take a step, and I think the talent around him will allow him to be more effective when the ball is out of his hand because you got to guard him. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to guard him. And I thought last year we talked about Carolina's team, just multiple guys were all better with the ball in their hands. He'll be really good with the ball in his hands. He'll be really good when he's off ball and the ball is with the other frontline guys.
I think that's a huge point. And one thing they didn't have last year, guys, and you guys can attest to this, is a guard who's willing to pitch it ahead, a guy who's willing to play fast. I remember when Ty Lawson was there, he was fast, sure, but he was willing to let that ball go. That's when Carolina traditionally has played their best basketball. Kyan Evans is willing to do that, and I think some of those turnovers from the scrimmage the other day, some of those things are going to be a feeling out process of who can I pitch it up to, who are some of these guys that I understand that are going to be able to make plays right away. It's an adjustment process, but it's going to be fun. I see him.
We're going to come back, and we're going to start this show going here, and we're going to start it with a team that I think might be maybe the biggest dark horse in the ACC this year, the Virginia Tech Hokies. Next.
Athlete AI is the story of an athlete. And every athlete deserves to have his story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight, this is your game, your moment. Your room. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is trending.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Sanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day. There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that. Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night, with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
All right, welcome back. ACC Media Day here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we started off with the Virginia Tech Hokies. My pick, guys, as kind of the dark horse team this year in the ACC. I'm going to go down the line. Why am I going to be right? Tell me, Toby. Start it off. Why am I going to be right? Pick up your mics and tell me, I just think you guys have the talent. I think you got experience. I think you got, I can't wait to talk to you about the young freshman who's supposedly unbelievable, and you got a hell of a coach in Mike Young. Go ahead.
I mean, the main thing I would say is versatility. That's the main thing. Like, we have a lot of interchangeable pieces. Yeah. We have a lot of players that understand basketball, so we can play how coach wants us to play easily, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So that's what I would say. So I didn't even intro all of you. Toby Lawal, Jalen Bedford, and Amarni Hansberry. I like the glasses instead of the goggles.
Where's he from? Amani, tell him where you from.
Tell him.
Silver Spring, Maryland. Okay.
Oh, here we go. I
always got shot by you guys out, man. Cut it out.
Jalen, you come from UNLV last year, so this is kind of new to you. He's been there last year. What have you seen so far with this group that kind of has you thinking, hey, we can be a tournament team?
Yeah, now honestly, just the versatility, the depth that we have, it's going to be an exciting year. I love the fact that we're underdogs. I've always been overlooked, and coming in here, just seeing the pieces that coach has put together, and the fact that we're putting it together so fast and so tightly, it's going to be a fun season. I can't wait to get started.
Go ahead.
My question is for you, because I did the Mountain West tournament last year. And you guys were injured. You guys had injuries like crazy. And really what it came down to was you guys had to create a lot. And you had a good tournament. You were creating. You were hurt. I think you had like this a big busted eye or something like that, if I remember.
Yeah, sir.
It's different playing for Mike Young. As a shooter, how does that open up your game, and how does he open up your game?
Just like I said, the vision that he has for me, he's going to put me in positions and situations that's going to let me succeed. There's guys on the team that can space the floor. We got shooters like Jaden Shoot, me, Monty, pick and pop dudes. So I feel like just the piece that he has is going to allow us all to succeed, and that's why it's going to be a great year.
Toby and Amani, how does it look with you guys together and Mike Young teams in the past when he's had two frontline guys that's been versatile and capable of scoring? That team won the ACC tournament. So how has practice been? Toby, obviously you're returning. You know the lay of the land, but how have you helped Amani And Amani, when it gets to you, what's your experience been like so far?
I mean, I didn't really have to help him much. Like, he's a versatile player. Like, oh, my fault. I didn't really have to help him much. Like, he's a versatile player, and he has a very high IQ. So he makes it easy for everyone else to play with him, if I'm being honest. So the paint is wide open, and we all know I'm a slasher, so.
She helped you out a lot of them lives.
My experience so far has been great. Coach Young's really good. His offensive mind is unbelievable. I feel like everybody on the team complement each other well, especially like me and Toby. We just open up a lot for each other, whether, they put the 5-man on me, the 5-man on Toby. We can exploit a lot of, the defenses. So I'm really just excited about what, this year holds. Having a point guard like Ben Hammond and Neo. I mean, Neo, the way he passes the ball, it affects the game in a big way. And, having a shooter that can space the floor, we're going to be tricky to guard.
All right. Yeah, Neoklis Abdalis. Everybody calls him Neo, of course. From Greece, comes in. A lot of people don't know about this kid yet. I mean, if you follow international competition, you know about him for what he did. And he was a guy that went through the draft process, almost stayed in the draft, decided to go to Virginia Tech. All right, I want your scouting report on him already, Toby. And I know, obviously you've been good to him in the offseason here because you want to get the ball. But give me your scouting report on Neo.
He's nice.
Yeah, don't give him too much now.
I'm about to say, don't give him too much.
Can't give him all the secret. Can't give him all the secret.
They got to let them find that out on their own.
Wait. Who's kissing his ass more out of the three of you?
Whoa.
That's what I want to know.
Why you playing with him? Why you playing with us?
Nah, he's not. You got to be. You want to get the ball, right?
It's true.
But that's what he does.
He's unselfish, yeah. Like, he doesn't, force any plays. Yeah. Like, basketball is like it's like a flow for him. Like, when he gets the ball, he's trying to get off it, and he gets on it when he needs to get on. You know what I'm saying? So it's just...
And 6'9"?
Yeah. And he's a pass first player, so we got to convince him to, shoot the ball.
Really?
Yo, go get yours. You feel me?
But I heard he can shoot it.
He can.
So what's his weakness?
He got no weakness.
Oh, see, that's crazy.
Weakness. Come on.
All right, so here's my question.
Let's go.
We not. We can't.
He's big too, right?
Yeah, he's getting bigger too.
I think the intriguing part about Neo is his ability to grab a rebound and take off with it. You're running the wings. You're obviously rim running or you're stopping short. But you guys in transition is different. Even with Isaiah, who I think everybody's going to talk about Neo. I think Isaiah's a really good player. And he's about 6'5". So your collective size and your ability for multiple guys to get a rebound and get out and run, I think makes Virginia Tech not only a sleeper in this conference, but a team that's going to make the tournament. And
I agree.
Offensively, if you guys are able to get stops with consistency, Mike's going to put you in great position. I'm worried about you in transition because you have so many ball handlers and guys capable of igniting the break. Yeah?
No doubt. Like I said, we have so much depth and versatility. There's so many guys that can handle the ball, push it, make reads, make plays, score. So, yeah.
Have you played with anybody as mean as Amani on the floor? I know he's a great guy off the floor. But, hey, we watched him at Peach Jam a couple years ago. Randolph and I were sitting on the baseline when you were with Durant. And everybody was talking about this Evans kid, and everybody was talking about – we're like, the baddest dude on the team was Amani Hansbrough.
Yeah.
What level of are you the tough guy on this team? Or is this like, I know you can step out and shoot. Everybody wants to prove that they can shoot it. But your bread and butter is being the bad man in a good way.
Yeah, for sure. Just going to get rebounds. I consider myself like one of the leaders of the teams. I think the guys look at me in the same way. So, just having, years of experience, at Illinois, last year at West Virginia, figuring out how I can motivate my guys and, just keep the motor going. As a team as a whole, if we can get stops, how tricky we are on offense. I mean, I think the sky's the limit for us.
Okay, so Neo's not the only European. Okay. They brought in another big fella, Antonio Dorn, who's huge. You watch his European film, and you're like, man, that might be the best screener in the German league, because I know it hurts. I played with a couple of 7-footers when I played at Clemson, a guy named Carlos Petroconis.
Knees
kind of
and elbows, baby.
Knees, elbows, anything European, and it hurts.
Oh, yeah.
So, like,
Look at him.
it hurts.
I got my own fair share of hitting the brick wall. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of brick walls.
The guards feel it. The big men don't appreciate it.
I feel that too.
Yeah. Talk about his physicality. I want to hear it from you because you're playing up in the air. He's playing on the ground. Like, you guys bring some different kind of punch to the game.
I mean,
right?
Yeah, like we switch too, so it's like Damn, I'm messing up the scout. My fault.
We know you got switch. You guys are fine.
Sometimes.
The world knows. The world knows you
But
got
just
switch.
know, like, he set the screens he set.
Oh,
Yo,
it hurts.
he's laid a couple people
So what
out.
you're telling me is the communication is good on the end, because if I'm a guard and I got hit by that and you don't call the screen out, we got a problem. So obviously on the defensive end of the floor, the communication has picked up for the Hokies is what you're telling me.
100%.
Okay.
All right, I did some digging on each one of you. All right, I got some stuff here. I got some stuff. All right, you ready? Jessica Alba.
That's him.
That's him. That's him. Okay, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm looking at you. I mean, yeah. Jessica Alba.
Celebrity crush.
Huge, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Huge.
Hey, if you watching, come to the game. Whatever you got to do.
You got her?
You got him. Come on now.
Yeah. She
No,
might
my man here. I'm sorry. It's the cologne for you,
Cologne.
right? Cologne, big time. You gotta smell good all the time.
I always smell good, but that's
What's the cologne? What is it?
I can't tell you that.
It's a secret. Come on, man. You gotta help.
You gotta help Jack. You gotta
You gotta help me out.
Look at him. He better smell
He needs
good.
all the help he
Exactly.
can
That's
get.
right.
We're trying to see.
needs all the help he
I'm
can
saying
get.
he's ugly. What do you think I'm trying to say?
And my man here,
He's my boss.
I heard at the age of 4, somebody said that you carried a mattress upstairs when you were 4 years old.
No.
I wasn't 4, nah, but it was
6,
9.
8? It was 9.
It was 9.
Carried like a legitimate mattress up the
Yeah,
stairs.
by myself. Put it on the back of my grandfather's truck.
There you go.
That's crazy.
What size mattress was this?
It was a king size. Nah,
King size mattress?
It was a queen. It was a queen. It was a queen. It was a queen.
Still
That's still 9 years old. It's a waterbed. But you were like when you were like 14, you were this size, weren't you?
Yeah.
Right?
He's been big.
You were big.
Long.
Right.
St.
You were-
John.
Yeah.
He came in early, and you're like, you thought he was gonna be Shaq when he was young.
My question is Virginia Tech paying in money or are they paying in diamonds?
I know. Look at this.
Because, like, if we go to the camera angle
This
with our
is
guys
crazy.
here, look how much, I mean, I'm glad we got high def cameras.
yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
So don't you guys worry?
Yeah.
I've heard horror stories already, guys, about like guys getting stuff stolen, losing it. I heard somebody at the airport a couple months ago, they lost it. Do you guys worry about,
I mean,
More so on the road.
if you steal this, at least you said my name.
yeah, what are you going to do with it? That's a good point. At least you got your name on it. I don't know who's going to, there was a Ghani Lawal years ago
I don't know.
at Georgia Tech. He was a good player, too. He was kind of
He got drafted.
similar size position as you. Really good player. So he might steal it and have a use for it. But other than that, no, you're right.
Let me ask you guys this. Where have you taken the next step in your game in this offseason, coming into this season, individually for each one of you guys?
I would say my all-around game and my shooting, because there were some times where they would just stay back and they wouldn't want to guard properly. So just trying to make the defense honest and trying to understand reads.
Yeah. No, for me, it's just, slowing down, making the right reads, developing my IQ. I feel like this coaching staff has a real good plan for development, and it's helped me come a long way in such a short time that I've been here at Virginia Tech. So, I mean, like I said, my facilitating has gotten a lot better since, I didn't, pass the ball too much at my previous school. So that's going to change this year. That's going to change.
Juco
Yeah.
kid.
Avani?
I would say 3 big things. Just being a more consistent shooter. I worked on my body a lot. Just being able to guard 1 through 5 defensively, showing my versatility there.
All right, well, there you have it. Virginia Tech's trio here. Can't wait to see you guys this season. Thanks for joining us. And we'll come right back with their head coach, Mike Young, next.
Thank you very much.
College basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68, opening day.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have the story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight, this is your moment, your room. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is trending.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens. There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal editions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that. Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Humble podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have the story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight, this is your moment, your room. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is trending.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
All right, welcome back, ACC Media Day. We've got a cast of characters here right now, and we're joined by none other than Mike Young, Virginia Tech head coach. Mike, how are you?
JG, I'm well, buddy. Good to be with you. I'd like to take a couple of these guys back to Blacksburg. These guys would make a lot of teams better.
Think about this. And I'm point guard.
And here you are.
Yeah,
here you are. Point guard, my
Jeff would be
all I do is pass the ball. Come on.
Manager.
Nobody's ever accused me of being selfish.
Spot up
right?
shooter.
Yeah.
Spot up shooter.
All right, Mike. I said it to your guys. I said it when we opened. I think you guys are going to be the surprise team of the ACC this year.
Sign me up. I think that's a fair assessment.
We know you
now,
can coach.
Time will tell. Time will tell, Jeff.
Yeah.
They haven't determined anything in October, but I will not shy away from it. I've said it all summer. I've got a really good basketball team. I got a damn good basketball team. If we can stay healthy, continue to get a little bit better, and have a little luck, we'll win a lot of games and have a great year.
You told me a month or so ago that your freshman from Greece, Neo, I don't think you can even pronounce his full name.
Neoklis Abdalis. Easy.
Pretty good. All right, pretty good. That's good. You said he's the most talented player you've ever coached.
Sheer basketball talent, the best I've ever coached. I've coached a bunch of great ones.
Yeah, you sure have. You sure have. Why? What makes him, again, special at this stage?
I'll share a little story with you, Jeff. When he came over with his dad from Kalamata, Greece. His dad is a wonderful gentleman, played professionally in Greece for a long time. And I said, what's the best part of his game? Do you think he's a 2? Do you think he's a small forward, point guard? And the dad looked at me and he said, Mike, he's a playmaker. And I thought, as I watched him this summer when he came over after playing with the national team in the under-20 in Greece, interestingly enough, he is a playmaker. And the things that we'll put him in, he's a unique basketball player and a really delightful young man to coach.
Let's talk about your roster. In particular, let's talk about Ben. We talked about so many other guys. We're not talking about Hammond, point guard. He's healthy. He's returning.
Yeah.
What does he mean to this team, and what does he bring to this team with the year under his belt?
Randolph, he means a great deal. It was very, very, very important to me and to us to retain Ben Hammond, Tyler Johnson, Jaden Shute, and Toby Lawal, and we were able to do that for a number of reasons. Ben Hammond has had a great summer. Ben Hammond will start for us to start the year. He's had a great summer, and he does it every day. His assists are way up. His turnovers are down. Not that we had a problem with that from him a year ago. He's shooting the ball very well. He shot 50% for us from 3 last year.
That's big.
He took the right threes.
Yes.
He made those shots. He's going to have a really good year for us. I'm really excited about him. Interesting enough that you would ask about a DC man. I like that.
We saw right through that.
That. I knew where that was going as soon as you opened your mouth.
I'm a homer. What can I say? Hey, but you recruited that early with him and Amani. You got some guys there. So
oh, man. Amani Hansbrough.
Good things are happening in Blacksburg.
Good.
He is good.
Terrific.
He's good.
Really good player.
That was going to be my question, was the front court. I'm probably taking it from these guys, but as a shooter, you've got shooters on that team with Antonio Dorn, with some of these other guys. You got some big-time physicality in the front court with Dorn, Hansbrough. Lawal gives you a different kind of spacer vertically.
Yeah.
Andy stepped out a little bit. What do we say about this front court?
I love our front court. I love the versatility of the front court. Move Toby down a little bit. Amani and Toby are going to play a lot together. Really a nice combination. They're handling and distributing quite well, rebounding very, very well. Jaden Shute is playing very good basketball for us, has had a really good first 11 practices, had a great summer. Avdalis has really shot the ball well. We need to ring the bell. I've made my living with a bunch of kids that can really shoot it. I don't know that we've got an Oglesby, but we've got a number of guys that can put it in the basket, and we'll need them all.
Coach, my question is, the first thing that jumps out to me is your players have their iced out, they have the best jewelry. You guys win enough game, or are you going to have a chain on?
Tyler, I had nothing to do with it. I thought we had the Mr. T starter set coming down. My God, what are we doing? I thought I was missing something. Wow.
I was wondering where yours was. Okay,
Randolph, I'm much too far down the road, dude. I'm good. I'm good. My goodness.
Is there someone that maybe we're not talking about that you think is going to make a jump to help your team that, maybe, we haven't mentioned?
I don't want to single anybody out. Tyler Johnson's been terrific, and his physicality and his presence on the offensive glass is something that we'll need. Jalen Bedford has been very good for us, a fifth-year guy that just wants to win. Isaiah Pasha from Delaware transfer has been very good. Will help our team. Talented. So, let's get into it. We've got 18 more practices before we kick it off in earnest, but we'll have them ready when it matters most.
You feel like this is a tournament team, then? It sounds
I do, Jeff.
Right?
I do. Now, others
we all do too.
Others may refute that. That's their prerogative. I've got an NCAA tournament team. Again, let's stay healthy. Let's continue to get better.
All right, can I have a little fun with Mike?
Let's do it.
All right. Youngisms. You're a little quirky. You are a little quirky. Let's be honest here. I've been told years ago, how about this one? A source told me that years ago, Mike used to go to Starbucks with his staff, a couple guys in
every
the back.
day.
He'd go to Starbucks when he was at Wofford. He'd go around the roundabout. He wouldn't go around once. He'd go around twice, and nobody knew why. Why did you go around the roundabout twice?
I don't know.
Every day.
I did it. I did it. I do a lot of things. Okay.
What's the quirkiest thing you do?
I don't know. I don't know. We're all a little weird, I think. I think that's what makes the world go round. Creature of habit.
Routine and habits build success. If you want to go, if you go around twice and you win, you go around twice.
I needed that assist. Thank you.
It's popcorn. You're switching up. I heard popcorn.
I'm switching up. Cardiologist told me to get off of it. Much to my, disappointment. I'm
How upset were you?
I was upset.
I guarantee.
I was upset.
Yeah.
It's a great low-fat snack or whatever you call those things. But I needed to stop.
Too much sodium? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Just like his popcorn too. He had to start doing stuff better because he had his popcorn every game. He had to stop doing that. You lost Kevin.
Yeah.
And he's been with you for quite some time.
Yeah.
Like, this will be your first time coaching without him for a while. I know you're happy for him. Can you tell us how that's been?
Great. Hey, listen, Randolph, we all want to be head coaches, okay? Chester Frazier is going to be a great head coach. J.D. Bauer is going to be a great head coach. When your number is called, you go.
Yeah.
All right? There's no ands, ifs, or buts. And there was some, back and forth, some hemming and hawing about, I love this team, and we're going to be really good. Whoa, wait a second. You've got a chance to go back to your alma mater, a place that you believe in, a place where you were a great player. Those people love you. You're going. And we came back up from practice, and he was all in, and he was ready to go. I'm thrilled for him.
Great guy.
Been different not having him around for 17 years.
Yeah,
I could look right there, and I knew that guy had my back, and I always appreciated that. But I'm thrilled for him. We brought on David Moats from Boise State. You know how much I think of Leon Rice. We're going to be fine. Kevin Giltner's going to be fine.
I'm happy for him. When you get your number called and you get to go back home.
So go home?
No brainer.
Hey, you're shouting out the DMV guys. That's a Tennessee Traveler who gets it, right?
I saw his episode
with us. He was great.
I tell you what, those Tennessee Travelers stick together. Charlie Benson and company.
That's right. That's right.
Program.
One last question for me. One thing with Neo, with Ben coming back and with Isaiah, one thing that stands out to me is, man, you guys can really grab and go and play in transition. We know when it gets to the half court, like, you're going to be able to set guys up. But that initial push might be able to be different with Neo on the floor.
Yeah, it will be. He's really long, moves well with the ball in his hands in transition, and gosh, he's got great vision of the floor. We will play a lot faster in transition and tinkering with some different things. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun team to experiment with. Before we head into league play in January, we've got a lot of growth within this team.
Yep.
Coach, I heard you just talking about early on about the importance of rebounding, physicality. Is there an area, believe me, it's a lost art.
Bring back the big.
Is there an area that you've really focused on, this offseason?
I think just that, Tyler. I think the rebounding piece is a big deal, and we've got some guys can really go after it. We've got to get better shots than our opponent. We've got to get more shots than our opponent. I think this will be a really good rebounding Virginia Tech team with the people I've mentioned already. Abdallas is a good rebounder at the guard spot. But that's been a real, point of emphasis. I think, as you rebound and collect those extra shots is such an important part of your team. And we'll continue to spend a lot of time on it.
I'm always so curious with the portal. I mean, it's like free agency. So for you, what's that been like, that shift of kind of recruiting to almost, trying to go get free agents and swoon on?
I'm not bemoaning anything.
Yeah.
I walk through the halls and I see all these kids from different schools like, I don't know you, I don't know you, I don't know you, I don't know you. I saw Seth Trimble. It's like, yes. As a returner, I love it. It's where we are. I'm not, that's what we're living through, and it's been great for, the kids, and I don't admonish them or the game whatsoever. Here's where we are. I think we've adjusted quite nicely. Again, for a second time, I'm happy for the mobility that the kids have.
Well, we're happy for you. We're happy you got a team that you feel like can get back to the NCAA tournament, it's where you belong. Frankly, it's where you belong.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you.
Well, I do. I think everybody in this business feels the same way about you. You handle yourself the right way. You're a hell of a coach. Now you got the talent to be able to do it. And you're also a guy that once, and we'll go to break after this, once labeled a cooler of beer ham sandwiches. Love that too. Love that too.
Daggone it. Stop giving away all this stuff.
Young, joining us here on ACC Media Day. We'll come back next with Stanford head coach Kyle Smith.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have his story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight. This is your moment, your room. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is trending.
There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal editions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that.
All right, welcome back. ACC Media Day here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are now joined by Stanford head coach Kyle Smith, who enters his second season on the farm. 21-win season last year. In your first year, go to the NIT. That's the good news. Bad news, you lose your star.
Yeah.
You lose your star, Maxime, and he was awesome. As good as it gets. I mean, we were here last year saying, like, this is a kid I want my daughter to marry, first of all.
That's for sure.
Right? I mean, like, you're not going to find a smarter dude.
No.
But what he did on the court for you to kind of give you momentum in year one, how important was that?
It was everything. I think our goal was simple, get Stanford basketball to be relevant again. And getting him back was the first priority. And he came back, and like I said, I've done it 4 times, taking over programs. And the leading returning scorer has a lot of juice, shall we say, a lot of leverage. He made it very easy. And beyond what he said on the court, he's awesome. Off the court, he's the real deal. He's, like I said, he was a computer science major, math minor, and he has a huge charisma. He's bigger than life guy, and he really, he's a little bit like our Andrew Luck for men's basketball. He really is a great role model ambassador for Stanford. He's awesome.
Kyle, I'll let these guys get into some basketball stuff. What I wanted to talk to you about was 1 year played. Let's talk about the travel. When I had your games early in the year, there was a lot of things you guys were doing to kind of prepare for it. Now that you've done it for a full season, can you kind of talk to us through the things you guys did to prepare, help your team recover all those things with the travel with East Coast games?
We are the nerds. So we leaned into the science of the hydration. We got the tights on, sleep. We got the Oura rings. We got all that stuff. So eventually you got to go put the ball in the basket. But we've covered our bases on that as far as travel. We're kind of tired of talking about it. We got our nonstops going out and coming back. And it's an immutable fact. As long as we're in the league, we have to deal with it. And our attitude is we get to do this. We get to play in the ACC. Play against the best, what I think is the best basketball conference, and it gives us a chance to be beyond relevant. Our brand is big globally,
Absolutely.
And if we can, and it's starting to be reflected in. Not supposed to comment on who, but our recruiting is going well too, and I think a lot of it has to do with just we're not just limited to the West Coast. We are, our brand, and whether we got a couple of European guys that are in our program, and a national profile.
Looking ahead to this season, one guy, retention was high with you guys compared to the rest of the ACC. I think it's you guys, Notre Dame, Duke had some retention, but it's pretty much just you three. Out of the guys coming back, I look at a guy like Ryan Agarwal, who has all the talent that you would need, but not the efficiency that I know you love.
Sure.
How can we get him to the next step of improving those metrics and being the playmaker we think he can be, and we know he can be?
I think he will, just on a year in the program. he made a big jump because he hadn't played many minutes for 2 years. So you're going to have, he redshirted the year before. He had a lot of rust. He actually had a little bit of a bad knee. But our system, when you come in with it's so heavy on learning how to defend, rebounding, ball handling, and then we get around to scoring, making baskets. And I think he'll do that. I think he'll break through. He's too good a shooter. You've seen, I mean, he's got a really good stroke. And he helped us win despite not shooting well. Like, he was a big part of it. He was our second leading rebounder. He still does those things. And he's got a really good feel. And that's not necessarily something you can watch. So I feel he'll make a step forward. And I think a guy like Chisholm Akpara, who wasn't, he came from Harvard. We like to refer to him as our JUCO transfer because he's like a 2-year guy. And, it took him a while to get it going, but he kind of came on the last half of the year, and he's a high usage guy for this team. He's going to be more the playmaker that he can be and stuff like that. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for him to shine.
Coach, me and you are both very analytical. How is
you're an animal? Wait a second, you're an animal.
Hey, Tyler knows what can be.
Hey, listen, analytics go out the window if I got a guy like you. There's no.
My question is, what area have you really focused on this offseason in preparation, and how have you used analytics to kind of base that?
Well, we know we had to get bigger and more physical. In our recruiting, we did that, and rebounding we were not a great rebounding team, despite having maybe the best rebounder in the country. So that'll make you a little nervous. So we added a guy like, this will sound funny, this guy AJ Rahosi, who's a Division III transfer, who has the same motor as the guy to my left here. He is an absolute warrior athlete. I had him at Washington State. Crazy
Tell him his story.
And then he transferred down and then came back to you.
I don't
Tell him how
have
you
enough
found
time.
him. Well,
we got plenty.
They walked in our office. All right, Cliff Note version. Got an email. Hey, this guy from Marin County is coming to Washington State. He's gonna walk on. Never saw him. Year passes. He pledged a fraternity. Walks in our office again. Plays like, all right, we'll take him. He practices hard. He's really a plus athlete. Comes in, Coach, I really want to play. We had 2 NBA players. We had 2, Ruben Chinyelu was there. It's like, I said, man, I want you to play too. Call everyone I can. He wants to go to NYU, wants to go to New York University. I'm like, I know the coach there. Let's get this done. Somehow he didn't get in. I'm a Dave Klasky. I still have a beef with Dave Klasky. And he goes, Coach, can I come back? I said, absolutely. He comes back, and he's knocking on the door even more. Yeah. And then I go to Stanford, and he graduated, and we didn't really have a grad school program. Again, we would have taken him last year. And he finally says, and I'm telling Seattle U, calling you out. I called some friends. I said, UC Riverside. I said, hey, man, this guy can play. So finally he says, Coach, I'm just going to get a finance degree at Claremont McKenna and play. I said, I played Division III. There was nothing that looked like you, so I'm expecting great things. And he was an All-American. And then it was like the same spring. He's like, he has an extra year, had a grad school program. I said, I said, screw it. You're coming with us. And he's just a guy who gives us identity, plays so hard. Oscar, and then we got another guy, Oscar Gilte, who's a freshman from Belgium. So I feel like, and that's not, and Max is 7-1-4 man to me. Like, he was if we had a bigger body to play, and I even listen to me, Sacramento Kings, quick trying to get him to play in the low post. That's not his shtick. That's not his deal. So that's a big thing. Going back to the original question, is that we got just some bigger bodies. Another guy, Krister Skrinda from Latvia. So we had to address that, and hopefully we can fight the fight on the glass.
Coach, for kind of resurrecting programs, where does the success in that, where does that come from? Where does it start?
Well, really, it goes about my high school coach, Rick Shirley in Texas, and he's the president of Texas Association of Basketball Coaches. And I whenever I get in doubt, I said, everything I need to know I learned in high school. And that's kind of where the analytics come from. He was doing it, scratching out on a piece of paper and on an index card, because he coached 3 teams and had 5 biology classes. We've kind of built it. So that's kind of where it started. And then where we got really, when Randy and I worked together at St. Mary's, really his dad was a high school coach and junior college coach, and we kind of built out those things. And it's just a great way to kind of keep the standard, raise the standard, raise the bar, give guys feedback. So that's kind of how we've done it. And someone laughed at me, and I was being serious the other day. I was at a dinner, and they go, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, I'm a basketball coach." And I said, "Well, I've mastered the art of going from awful to average, and sometimes above average." So we'll get there, but it's been a good way. And it's really the analytics help a lot. For sure.
Okay.
Kyle, we know Maxime Renaud was your best player last year, but Jalen Blake's, what he brought to your team, he was a closer for you.
Yes.
Right? And who's assumed that role on this year's team, or have you seen a guy step up and assume that role? Because I thought he was vital to your team, and you guys are right on the fringe of making the tournament. He goes down, and it was difficult for you guys to recover.
Well, we're not there yet. We're still formed, but I did mention Chisholm will be. I think he's a good playmaker. He's actually a guy that can score in a low post. Can make it. They led us in 3-point shooting last year, and he gets paint touches where he's playing a small ball 4, or we'll play him at the 3. He's getting power. So that's kind of where we start there. Then Jeremy Dent-Smith is a guard, the Division II transfer.
That's where I was going to go next.
And he'll, whether he's coming off the bench as a flamethrower kind of guy and I think he can close games. He's going through a little bit of the adjustment period that Chiz went through. And then actually the guy I mentioned, AJ Rahosi, can make baskets. And we have I'll let it out the bag. We have a freshman point guard. It's pretty good.
So yeah, you do.
He can make some plays.
Who's that?
Abuka Okori. He's from your neck of the woods.
Good player. Efficient. Fits him to a team.
Yeah, he's New Hampshire kid.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not too many players come out of New Hampshire, Kyle.
Via Bruce.
Rare.
They usually have good players.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Jeremy Dent-Smith, obviously you want him to come in and make an impact. He's a 2-time All-American in Division II. I think that, to me, that's really interesting. But for your entire team, Benny Gieler, he comes in as a priority walk-on. Obviously, times change. I don't even know if walk-on is still a term.
Not anymore.
But, to have him on, his assist-to-turnover ratio was best in the conference. Just a smart player, and he can kind of just settle everybody down.
You know what? He reminds me of another point guard I coached when I was assistant by the name of Todd Golden. Did very similar in so many ways.
He's done okay.
Yeah, he's done okay. I hope Benny's a better player than Todd. And if he's as good a coach, I can just retire. Hand it off the range. But you're right. He's long. It's very similar. He can make 30-foot shots. It's a good shot for him, to be honest. He shockingly, he is our best on-ball defender. I mean, he really harasses the ball. We need that. He's helping our young guy, like I said, Abuka Okori and Jeremy Dent-Smith, this level. We need someone that can do that. And then he's a leader. He's absolutely, he crushes every competition we have, and that's who you want leading your team. And forget about whatever we were before. Walk on this and that. I mean, evidently we know how to groom those guys into players.
Last one I got for you. It's a good transition. You mentioned Todd Golden. Your coaching tree has grown here. You got Golden. You got Mike Magpio, who's now at Fordham. You got Kevin Hovde, who's at Columbia. You guys were together at Labor Day, and you're making bank. Golden's making bank.
Golden is for sure.
Golden's here. You're a step down. Then you got poor Magpio and Hovde.
They're doing fine.
Scratching, scrambling.
He doesn't have any
trying
necklaces.
to pay the bills, and they go out for dinner, and they play credit card roulette. And what happened?
Well, that's one of my favorite games, and I don't know how some people play credit card roulette different than others. Last man standing pay. So it is. There are 6 credit cards in there, and I root for Hovde to get pay every time. When he was my assistant, whatever, I don't care, and I just start. And when my card comes out, I just start chanting Hovde. And
so how did that go? You guys just throw them all in the hat or something?
Oh yeah, we get the cutest waitress in the restaurant. We make her. She has to go behind her back. She shuffles them up.
This is fantastic.
Pulls them out one at a time, and when your name's called, you're so pumped. And the worst thing is anyone knows Mike Magpio, he's not afraid of a bottle of wine. So he's on before we know what's coming. He's just like that's most expensive bottle.
And there are wives in this one.
Oh,
right?
There's wives.
So this is a big bill.
So his bill, like Magpio's bill, is probably 50% of the check. I mean, I don't. Fordham doesn't mind. They're a Catholic school. They probably embrace that. They embrace their head coach likes to have fun. So that's literally how it goes, and then it's the Hovde chant comes. Hovde.
Everybody's doing it?
In my mind, everyone is.
That'll be us tonight with Pep.
Good.
He's just a tightwad. He won't pay for anything. So it's just like, boom, he got it. So he got it. He paid. It was some, it was some
Poor guy. It was
sushi
probably
joint.
like 5% of his salary.
He's doing okay.
He's doing all right.
Or his wife's doing okay. She's pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
Well, so are you. So are you. And we're glad to see you doing well. Great place. You've called it your dream job.
Yeah.
Stanford fits you to a T. So
Thank you.
Kyle Smith, Stanford head coach here at ACC Media Day. We'll come back. We'll get two of his players up next on the hot seat here at ACC Media Day.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of nonstop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Sanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have their story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight. This is your moment, your room. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is trending.
All right, welcome back, ACC Media Day, and just finished up with Kyle Smith, Stanford head coach. Now we get two of his players here, Benny Geeler, Chisholm Akpara. Good to have you here.
So thanks for having us. Thank you.
I mean, listen, this is what it's all about. This means we're around the corner.
Yes,
right? This means games are soon, and we got year 2 in the Kyle Smith era. So, Benny, I know your ride has been really cool to watch. I mean, obviously coming from a preferred walk-on, being a guy who's a guy now on the team. What's it been like for you, again, to kind of watch your role grow? And now, you know, probably don't get hazed like you used to that first year, right?
No, it's been great. Just super grateful for the opportunity. You know, as soon as I got the opportunity to walk on at Stanford, I didn't have a choice not to, because my parents were, you're going here.
Yeah.
You know, you can't beat the education. So just another thing I appreciate is I never felt like a walk-on. You know, I just felt like a normal player and just showed up, believed in myself, and grateful to be here.
Talking about this year's team, what's been the biggest jump? You know, from last year's team, I was talking to Coach early, and we saw you guys were really close to making the tournament a year ago. Where are you at this time? You were one of the players who's returning that knows what the team was a year ago. Where do you stand right now in comparison to a year ago?
I think we're in a great spot. We jumped into a new division, right? ACC from the Pac, new coach. So there was a lot of new things coming at us, which was great. But now we're familiar. We got 11 returners, most returning minutes. So I think we're in a great spot. It's just we're familiar with everything going on, and we can build that culture, start establishing a strong identity, like a competing, blue collar kind of workman identity. I think we're in a great spot.
Chisholm, for you, like last year, Maxime Renaud took a lot of space and took a lot of the usage rate, if you will. You get that opportunity this year, and we know you've been a good player for a long time. You were good at Harvard. You had spots last year, but there's an adjustment, right? What are you most excited about this season, being a little bit more of a focal point?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm really excited for the opportunity to continue to play, continue to help my teammates shine, and just overall just get to winning, get to competing. Last year, like you said, it was a pretty adjustment for me, and I felt like Coach Smith really helped me and guided me into getting used to my role. And then now this year with a little more opportunity, had some great players last year, but like you said, more opportunity this year, so I'm just ready. He's been preparing me. Mm-hmm. Coach Smith and the staff have been preparing me amazing, and this summer, transforming my body, offensively, making better reads, defensively, helping me guard positions 2 through 4. So just preparing myself for the opportunity and just enjoying the moment.
You can tell we've been in the weight room.
Yeah,
We've been working.
I've been working on my body too.
Kyle compared him, and this is before your time. These guys will know it. Anthony Mason.
Yeah, on the Knicks.
He compares you to Anthony Mason a lot,
He
which
made
we
me go watch
remember.
film on Anthony Mason.
Have you watched the both?
I watched a good amount.
He was amazing to watch because how he could handle it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
At his size, and he looked like you. I mean,
Thank you.
I think you're actually probably a little bit taller than Mason was.
Mason was a dog. From the film I watched, he was
As
a dog.
tough as it gets.
I took it as a great compliment. Took it, ran with it. Continue to work on my handling, shooting, and I think that was a great comparison, and I love it.
Give me on a side note.
Yeah.
Going from Harvard to Stanford.
Yeah.
Which is more difficult academically? That's what I want to know. Which is easier? Come on.
Which is easier?
Which is easier academically?
That's a tough one. They're both really hard.
Don't
I'm telling you, I'm still honest truth.
Come on, man.
It's honest truth.
You got to answer. You can't do coach.
You don't have to answer the Tommy Amick anymore, so you don't have to worry about that now.
We won't tell Tommy.
Which one is easier academically?
Yeah.
I'll say Stanford is easier academically due to the help we get.
Yeah.
The help we get as athletes is Harvard is very independent. It's very independent. You have resources, but Stanford has a lot more resources that you can use for help. And in terms of actual classwork logistics, which is harder, well, they're both hard.
What do you want to do when you're done playing? Any idea yet?
Specifically, there's private equity, ownership, get into what you guys are doing. So all that
don't
world.
do that.
I'll tell you what, hey,
more money
you'll make a lot more money.
Exactly.
And now here.
Ownership.
You can't bring up private equity and then look over here.
Ownership and then look over here. That doesn't work.
What about you, Benny? Now I'm curious about you too, because you were valedictorian of your high school. I got to know you too.
What's the plan?
I mean, I can't compete with this guy in the classroom. Harvard to Stanford, can't beat it. But probably similar thing: finance, private equity, investing.
Yeah, don't do
all of the above.
Don't even say what
wherever
you
I
say.
need you.
I can't do what you guys do.
No, that's no money. That's nobody. You can go to JUCO. You can transfer and make it a lot easier on yourself. Do what we're doing. I talked to Coach and I mentioned Jalen Blakes and what he meant as a closer to you guys. How have both of you guys embraced that role, or have you embraced the role of being a closer, a person at the end of the games on the line, putting the ball in their hands? How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, having Jalen, even Max, like you guys said, is just such a privilege. We were so blessed to have him on the team.
Right.
They made it a lot easier for everyone else. Something I took from Jalen, just competing with him every day. One, he was a competitor, but he had a crazy amount of self-belief. That's why he was so successful at the end of the game. So just having this this belief in yourself that you're gonna take the big shots and surrender to the outcome.
Yeah.
I think the one thing, you look up and down your roster. Benny, you're 6'1", 6'2". Jeremy Dent-Smith comes in from Division II school. But the rest of you guys, the collective size of this team should be really good on the glass.
Yeah.
That's something Kyle takes pride in with his teams attacking the boards. My question to you is, what is practice like when it comes to climbing the glass? I mean, I'm your size. Whenever I played, we're not getting in there.
You'll be surprised.
We're not getting in there. You're not getting in there. I got to ask you. Like, it's got to be some level of physicality.
Look at him, though. Come on, man.
Nobody's looking at the box out drill, and I got to go with him. I'm getting to the back of the line. I'm rotating back.
No, but practice definitely we bark and really focus on the idea of defending, rebounding, and take care of the ball through our nerve ball, through the hustle stats. So we're more incentivized to box out. So a lot of our guys are fearless to box out and are willing to put their bodies on the line to take charges, to box out, to rebound, and really just crash the glass whenever a shot is up. We send two back and everyone else crashes the glass. And defensively, we're always looking to box people out and rebound. Yeah, last year Maxine did a lot of the heavy lifting in the rebounding. This year, there's more rebounds to grab.
But that's because everybody else was boxing out.
Yeah.
Maxine would go get.
Freedom up.
Yeah, but now it's we're incentivized to box out and rebound. So it's exciting.
Who's been the biggest surprise? I mean, people know about you guys, but there's a lot of new faces, a lot of guys that are going to have different roles.
Yeah.
A lot of open competition for minutes this year. Who, each one of you, kind of pick somebody different?
Yeah, I've been really impressed just because I have to go against him every day with Buka Corey. Really quick guard, talented, obviously Gatorade Player of the Year in New Hampshire. Very consistent, just really talented. And Coach always says it finds a way to get to the basket, make crazy layups. I've been really impressed with him. And then also AJ Rahosi is another one.
You're taking it.
You took it last.
And you can find someone else.
You can find someone else.
He had the crazy motor. AJ coming from Claremont Mud and just, he put up really good numbers there, and just coming out here, and he plays with a level of confidence, and he's kind of just an animal out there. You can't stop him. Go, go, go.
Yeah, no, AJ obviously, but then I was gonna say Oscar, the freshman. He's the way he handles himself on the court just like a pro, like he was before, and he gets every rebound. He was shooting 85 in the paint from this past summer. It was insane. He just finishes at the rim perfectly, and the way he thinks the game, his motor, the way he runs the floor, it's been amazing. And then also Jeremy, his shooting ability is insane. It's crazy. I thought he could shoot crazy, but Jeremy, both of them together is insane. It's Jeremy, once he's past half court, he's dangerous. And, his work ethic and his ability to create space for me to drive, and just him being a great playmaker too. It's just been two really surprising guys, but yeah.
Biggest improvement you guys have made in your games in the offseason?
For me, probably just picking up full court, kind of level of conditioning to that, Yes. And also just the commitment to just pick up full court, make it, you take off a few seconds off the clock, get the other girl tired. Just becoming a two-way player as much as possible.
TJ McConnell's made that cool, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he was incredible to watch. Just,
picking up full court's now cool. I see that that's such a different emphasis. TJ McConnell made it cool by coming in off the bench for the Pacers for 15 minutes.
But it's different when you do it as a starter.
Yeah,
it's easier when you come off the bench because it's kind of that's assumed to be your role.
Yeah.
But as a starter, that sends a message, I think, to your entire team when you're starting off a game and you're leading your team, playing minutes that way.
It's like a domino effect.
Exactly.
You're full court, you're the line of attack.
Yes.
The other guys are going to be more involved.
Or you better guard too, because if you don't guard, you're just at a disadvantage.
100%.
So you got to. It's not just about showing up; it's about staying in front too.
100%. You guys have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder this year. I don't know where you'll be picked. I don't even think they do a preseason. I don't know when they do it, if they do it, but
it'll be.
You guys have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder this year in terms of hey, nobody's really. We lost our star.
Yeah.
And you had a great year last year in year one.
Yeah.
You have that?
Yeah, 100% chip on our shoulder. It's I feel like they're always going to be counted out due to where we are in the country and who we have and what's on paper. But again, if we stick to our principles, defending, boxing out, rebounding, and taking care of the ball, I think we'll be more than okay. I think we'll surprise a lot of people. I think the passion, the competitiveness we have as a team and a collective, and the belief we have in our staff and in ourselves and our principles, I think we're going to, last year, they had us low, and then look what happened. So happens every year.
It'll probably be more collective this year, right? I mean, last year,
100%.
It was Max was kind of the guy. Don't you feel like there'll be a lot more balance?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of depth, and that's one of our advantages, just playing together, feeding off each other's energy, skills. It's hard to take one guy out. They'd hone in on Max, right, which made it easier for us, but now it's who do they hone in necessarily?
Exactly.
So everyone's going to play their role.
Numerous weapons that, all of us bring something great to the table, and we're excited to show it off.
Yep.
So.
Give me, before we let you go, your favorite Kyle Smith story. Can be anything. Can be embarrassing.
So,
I mean, I prefer it to be embarrassing.
Right away.
Wow.
So, Coach Smith. So one thing I improved upon was my left hand finishing, and so Coach Smith barks on me make sure you finish your left hand, make sure you finish with your left hand. There was one time we're playing live in it during practice. I do a left hand post hook. Not my favorite move, not my go-to, but I do it. He stops practice. He kicks the ball. He makes a whole spectacle. Yeah. And I was I love it. I love the energy. And I was it incentivized me more to do more left-hand post hooks.
Yeah, I don't know if I got a story, but if I was to say one thing about Smith, something that's funny is we do our early offense or dummy offense, which if people don't know, it's just offense without defense, right? And this guy he'll say 10 different things: banana cut, flea flicker, reject the screen, hit the big guy, and we all just on the baseline, we're just looking at each other what the heck did this guy just say? Yeah. And then we go out there and we mess it up. He's on the line.
He calls secrets.
I'm that's not a story, but it's funny. He'd be calling crazy plays. Stuff.
Yeah, he's a different dude, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
Well, for you, I mean, you stayed. Yeah. I mean, that's part of it, right? I mean, you stayed when he took over, right?
Yeah. I would say he's a fountain. He always says this. He gives energy to other people. we feed off of that. And every practice, he's going to come with a smile and lead with his energy.
Who gives the best impersonation of coach? Either one of you guys?
You do a good one?
You do a
He's
good
not
one?
here with us. The guy that does the best.
Oh, yeah.
we got some good guys like Donovan.
Really?
He does a great impersonation of all the coaches.
We got Revino, who Rev's a character. He was a great to have him on our staff. He's our GM. Coached a great Stanford team with Montgomery. This guy, he loves two-handed rebounds. So you can have the most monster rebound of all time, but if you snatch it with one hand, he's going to be in two-handed rebound. So him and
the elder coach, assistant coach, you guys got on
Tell him about Shaw too. Tell him about Shaw's scoring system.
Yeah, I know. So there's one thing. So we do a drill 4-on-4, and our coach, Coach Shaw, has a unique scoring system. It's just super random. I feel like it's just so you do mess up one play, could be -5 or it could be -3.
Just making up the rules
as we go. And it's just the main thing is the main thing is just make sure you don't turn over the ball, make sure you rebound, and make sure you win the drill. That's really it. Yeah.
Well, listen, Benny Chisholm, great having you here.
Thank you for having us.
Both of you guys. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll be watching a bunch of you this year. You'll surprise some people.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, there you have it, Stanford. Up next, we got Syracuse players coming up next. A little Donnie Freeman, J.J. Starling, a couple of veterans for the Cuse. We'll talk to them next on ACC Media Day.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Sanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have the story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight, this is your moment, your room. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is trending.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night, with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens. There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal editions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that. Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Hummel podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
All right, welcome back, ACC Media Day. Just finished up with Stanford, Kyle Smith, Benny Gieler, Chisholm Opara,
Guys that we want to work for one day.
Yeah.
You think?
Man.
You think? I mean, they can make a lot more money than us. That's
private equity. I
ridiculous.
said,
Stanford's an intriguing.
They didn't have any chains either. You notice that?
disappointed.
Stanford, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to have like some sort of competition at the end of the day. Who's got the most blame? I mean, right
I'm wearing my chain tomorrow. I'm still in the mix.
You still really?
Yeah, I'm wearing my chain tomorrow. Yeah.
So you were NIL before there was NIL. Is that what you're saying?
It's an old chain.
Carolina was saying before.
It's an old chain, but diamonds are forever.
What did Roy give you?
Diamonds are forever. Roy didn't give me anything, unfortunately.
Play for Will Wade. I'll have to go rent some.
Yeah, so you could do that. That's what they do these days, anyways.
So I kind of made it known Virginia Tech is my sleeper.
Right.
Are you saying their necklaces are middle of the mall?
No. I'm just saying if we're gonna be wearing chains, I want to join the party.
All right. Anyway,
middle of the mall.
Stay on track here, Tia. Stay on track. Let's go down the line.
Is that what you think?
I know where you're going. For me, it's Syracuse. I think Syracuse is the team.
You notice how we're both doing
as
this?
high as you
Virginia
guys
Tech
were.
comes up next.
Yeah,
I say they're the sleeper. Syracuse is coming up next.
Syracuse is the team that I think that'll be in the NCAA tournament. Like everyone else, if they stay healthy, I love what they've done with their roster, and I know we'll get into that when those guys come. But I think they were the biggest winners of the house settlement because I don't think the two guys that are coming to sit with us just a year ago would still be at their school.
Probably
under
true.
the previous rules. I think someone would have come in with a ton of money, pulled them away. I think Red Autry and the Orange fan base will be really pleased with what they had, retaining those two, but also what they brought in with Nate Jones and this entire roster. There's shooting, there's depth. I think the Orange are an NCAA tournament team, and that's the team I'm going out and say.
They're talented enough to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you worry? You worry?
I do worry a little bit, just because we hadn't seen it, guys, and they've been talented before. They weren't bad last year.
They did.
No, absolutely not. But they didn't fit last year. I think when you look at last year's roster, there's a bunch of good players. They didn't necessarily fit together really well.
Still got a wheel out of here.
I'm about to. I needed room. I'm bumping knees with my man RC here.
Yeah.
If I'm picking a sleeper though, Syracuse Shore, first team we talked to today.
Yeah,
and not just that Virginia school, the other Virginia school, the Who's are going to be really good too. I mean, you go up and down their roster, really talented. Both Virginias. That's where I'm going for sleepers. Both Virginias.
I like Syracuse. I actually watched them in depth. I went up there, got stuck in a snowstorm, so I just had a lot of time up there. And Ruby Tuesday, by the way, fire.
Tuesday.
Never been there before.
Never been to Ruby Tuesday.
Never been to Ruby Tuesday. They don't
You've never been to
have that in the South, do they?
That's all they had at Clemson. It was like that and a Sizzler.
Never been. But the salad bar, fire.
Yeah,
but they couldn't shoot. They couldn't score. I think that was the issue. They would have these lulls where they couldn't hit a three. They couldn't hit a shot. And they were throwing it to JJ like, all right, go save us. And so now I think with Nate George, right, the playmaker. So I don't know if there was a product of maybe just not getting open shots more so than not being able to shoot. So I think Syracuse should be a lot better by just making shots this year. So
This isn't a sleeper, but I know Louisville's been getting a lot of hype. I really like what Pat Kelsey's been doing. I think he's got guard play.
I think they can win the league.
I think they're an absolute contender, and I think they're going to prove it this year. What he's doing, he's going to build off the momentum that he had last year. He's really establishing an identity, especially in 1 year, and turning around from what Louisville went through, and the fan base is ready. I think they're going to dominate.
Wait till you see this freshman, Mikael Brown. Wait till you see.
He's good. He's really good.
Oh,
on the internet.
Could be the best. Yeah, could be the best point guard in the country.
He could be. I mean, Darren Peterson Jr., he's another one at Kansas who's unbelievable, more of a combo. Mikael Brown Jr. is
their style of play and the talent that's around him, I think will. He'll finish all conference. I think.
Well, he's got shooters everywhere.
And
he can shoot the hell out of it.
He can shoot it. He can score it. His size as a point guard. It's big. His length. Yes, he's just.
They're a pleasure.
They're a
I
team.
love watching that.
They're a team that I think could win the league. I think they're that good.
Could they win it all?
Win the national championship.
If they stay healthy, yes, they'll be in the mix of it. But I think they'll, coming off a league last year that was dominated by Duke. I think Duke is still good, but I think they come back to the pack a little bit. But I think Louisville takes a step.
What was it? Louisville 18-2 last year in league. I mean,
they were right there.
They were right there.
But it was clear that Duke was just the best team,
Agreed.
hands down. I don't think anybody refutes that. I think this team is more complete. They're healthy. We got healthy Pryor now. a year removed from his ACL injury. I just love that team and what they could be.
An underrated front court, too. We're going to talk a lot about their shooting, right? Louisville shooting with McNeely and Conwell and Adrian Woolley, who seems to not get enough attention. The front court, they've got some pieces. Sananda Fru coming over from Germany. He's got like a 7'4" wingspan. He protects the rim. That's going to be a really intriguing roster. But we got Syracuse coming up. And I'm just, with all those scores and all those weapons, last year was Carlos, who was their point guard.
Yeah.
The game changes this year with Nathan George coming in, who's either number 1 or number 2 in assists the last 2 seasons. There's a big difference, and Randolph can attest to this, between getting an extra 1.5 foot of space for a 3-point shot and guys closing out a lot quicker because the ball doesn't quite get there right on time.
It's going to get there.
It's going to be different. And I think some of these guys are going to have big seasons playing alongside Nathan George because so unselfish in how he plays.
I think we're underrating the big man and William Kyle. I think his ability to attack, and he's going to tear the screws off the rim, putting pressure on the rim. With that guard play, and when was the last time you seen a team, and why I say I'm so high on him is that you get a player coming in with Kyan Anthony's reputation as a 5-star kid, and we're not even talking about him. Like and that's what you want. And I mean it in a great way. That's right. He gets to take his lumps and adjust and play, but that just tells you how strong this team is.
If he came in and was a savior, they'd be in major trouble.
I don't think any of us would pick them to be as high as we are if they were. That's why I'm so high on them. And they got the second leading scorer in conference play. There's not many teams that can say, them in Notre Dame can say, hey, I got a guy that's going to give me 20 a night. Like, how many teams can we sit here, look at, and go down the league and say, I know this player is giving me 20 points a game?
I feel like Mike Young and Red Autry are in similar places in that they both have some pressure on them. They both haven't done anything, Red, 3rd year. Got to get to the tournament. Mike Young, it's been 3 years. Got to get to the tournament. And both of them had enough resources. And they maximized their resources in the offseason to be able to put together rosters where we think, hey, you know what? They got enough. They should do it.
I'll ask you guys this because I agree with you, but I think Mike Young has built up a little bit of equity, and Virginia Tech knows that.
Yes.
My question would be of the third-year coaches, meaning Shrewsbury at Notre Dame, Stoudemire at Georgia Tech, and Autry at the Orange.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of those guys have pressure. But I think of those 3, I think Syracuse and the Orange have the most pressure, but I also think they have the most talented roster of those 3.
I agree with that. And I also, you look at Syracuse's fan base, like Boeheim, everybody who we love, we all love Boeheim. After he's done, he basically picks Red. And now you're kind of waiting, you're in wait and see mode. He needs to win this year because the fan support has still been there. They're getting anxious, and now they have the talent. If I had to pick out of those 3, it's definitely Red.
Got to win. Think about all 3. When you guys were all playing, Syracuse was Syracuse. Mm-hmm. They haven't been for a long time. Now, they had a couple fluky runs in the NCAA tournament, but they were a team then, weren't they?
We played against them in Wesley Johnson when they had Wesley Johnson in the guard.
Yeah. And that transfer from Iowa State.
I was a freshman.
Yeah.
And it was tough. So I like to say, I just have nightmares of that.
What was he, the number 4 pick in the draft?
Number 4 pick in the draft. That's when, I was playing the 3-4, so I had to guard him.
How'd that go?
Coach took me out pretty quickly.
Okay.
But it was a learning lesson. But yeah, they were really, the garden was jumping. It was a crazy experience. So
college basketball is better when Syracuse is good.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. And the league needs Syracuse to be good, don't they?
Got you.
100%. And, the tradition is one thing. But I think they've got to build their identity. I think it's much harder to do that in the NIL era.
Following a legend, too.
Yeah, that's hard. Being the guy after the guy.
Following the guys. You guys know as a Carolina fans, it's an adjustment following a legend.
Yep.
As Hubert knows.
And the program had, I love Jim Boeheim, but the program had started to dip, right? So when Red Autry took it over, now he was an assistant, he has to try to get it back up, and that's not easy.
But, Jeff, to your point, too, I think both of the Hokies and the Orange have both benefited from, we talked about earlier, the house settlement. Of now, both of them
have crazy money.
But they got more than what they had before. Say what we want about the Orange. They were not at the top of the NIL.
No.
And neither were the Hokies. I think
they're in the middle now. But they're in the middle of the league.
Being able to retain their players and to give Mike Young, who we know is as good a coach as anybody, to give him players. Now you're talking about an NCAA team where had they not given them money and resources, then it doesn't matter.
No, and you're not fighting, let's face it, if you're Virginia Tech, Syracuse, you're not fighting Duke, who's got 10 million plus, Carolina, who's got 10 million and well over. I'm not saying it's right at 10. Louisville, 10 million plus. Those three, NC State, those four are at a different tier than everybody else. So if you're Virginia Tech, you're Syracuse, you're some of these other schools, Wake, you're just fighting to really get in at 5, 6, 7 and hope that this league does get 8 teams in this year.
Well, I'll answer this. First of all, just throwing money doesn't always necessarily equal wins and team chemistry. We saw that at Kansas State, I think, where they had a high budget. It doesn't necessarily translate. But I will say having Syracuse competitive and being Syracuse makes a huge difference. And the ACC is back. This year it's back. It's much deeper. The House settlement has helped a lot of schools. And, you know, in my opinion, some schools, when they're not having success, NIL's to blame. It's an easy out, in my opinion, for some schools.
It's a different role. I mean, it's roster construction. Throwing money at a problem is just one thing, and then how do you construct the roster, as I think teams are just starting to do a better job of figuring that out.
Who's the team that you think, again, I mean, you look at a Mike Young and Red Autry and what they have this year. Is there anybody else that you could say has had a tough go the last couple of years, just hasn't had the resources?
No, Earl.
Well, but BC's never going to have
BC's never going to have
whether or not the House settlement or not, BC's BC. Is there somebody else that's been hit because of this?
I think 2 programs and the second year guys. But he's done such a great job. He's validated.
Well, no. I'm not saying hot seat. I'm saying going forward, monetarily speaking, like football's taking like 85% of that.
No, that's true. That's true.
So like, here's the thing with the rev. Here's the thing with the rev share. Each school can choose what sport they want to be good at, and I think the good thing about the ACC is there's going to be a lot of schools that want to be good at basketball.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Mine would be, again, we talked about this, and I know this will come up throughout the day. It's the third-year coaches. It's Stoudemire at Tech. We talked about New Orange and Autry, and I think it's Shrewsbury and Notre Dame. To your point, how much are they? We know Notre Dame is football, but they got so much money because of their situation. You know, they're not sharing any of their money. There's money to trickle over into basketball, and I think he's a hell of a coach. And they need to take a step. Stoudemire, same thing. I mean, the injury bug. We'll get to those guys. The injury bug just riddled those guys, and we'll see how they look when they come in.
All right, we'll come back right after the break, and we've got the Syracuse duo of Donnie Freeman and J.J. Starlin.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens. The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 Opening Day Marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day. There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal editions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that. Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens. Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Hummel podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
All right, welcome back, ACC Media Day. Jeff Goodman here with Randolph Childress, Tyler Hansbrough. We are joined by Syracuse's duo of J.J. Starling and Donnie Freeman. And guys, listen, we've been talking a lot already this morning. We think this is the time for Syracuse. We do. I mean, we're not just saying that. That's not just bullshit. We believe this is the year Syracuse gets back. Why? Why are we right?
I feel like it starts with the level of talent that we have and the chemistry that we have already. You know, we have a group of guys that care for each other, compete every day, and at the end of the day, we're all just workers. You know, we're in the gym 24/7, no matter if we're tired or whatever, and we're just working towards that goal instead of just saying it.
Donnie?
Yeah, I mean, for me, from what I was saying, teams that come from within, and it's player-led teams, and for us, like we're player-led. We hold each other accountable, and like we worked our butts off all summer from start to finish, and we're gonna reap the benefits of it come season time.
I'm pushing all my chips in. I've been screaming the Orange are making the NCAA tournament. I'm on the record. I'm saying that. Adjustment-wise, I know the talent's there, but for you, second leading scorer returning into this league. You're going to play with probably more talent than you've played at any point in your career. How does that adjustment for both of you guys with all of the talent? Because Donnie, you coming in last year, 5-star recruit. We know what happened. The injury, didn't play a full season now, and I want to hear more about your jump. But for how does that affect you coming into this season last year for you?
Honestly, it's not really much of a big jump. You know, I know what I can do. I know how much work I've been putting in, but like you said, I'm just going to lean on the guys that we have. You know, I don't got to do too much. I just want to win games, and whatever they ask me to do, whatever my coaches ask me to do, I'm going to do it. And I feel like that's that can go for any guy on the team, and that's what makes us so special. You know, we just care for each other, and we just will have one goal in mind, no individual accolades.
What was your question for me?
No, for you, your jump in your game, sophomore year, coming in 5-star. We talked about the injuries. What's been the biggest jump in your game? You were nearly a double-double as a freshman. I don't think people understand how good of a freshman year you were having prior to that. What's been the biggest jump from your freshman sophomore year?
I mean, honestly, like the numbers and everything is cool, but just trying to find the small ways to impact winning, like whether it's getting a block, a deflection, a steal, or like anything, like doing the small things. Like for me, like I think the biggest thing for me that kind of held me back last year was a little bit of my defense. So I've been kind of honing in on that, really focusing on that, and kind of take that next jump. And it's a maturity thing as well. Just like defense isn't pretty, but like it gets the job done. I feel like that's something that's going to separate me from my peers.
I'm sold, Jeff. I got it. That's all I wanted to hear.
It?
That was it.
He's just going to leave.
No, because I had a game. I'm glad you said that because I had your game last year, New Year's Eve, and you struggled.
This was Florida State?
Wake Forest.
Oh, yeah.
and you struggled.
Yeah.
No. And to his credit,
you should be able to say
he's
that
honest.
too.
It's a growth. It's not that. It's not an indictment. Everybody, as you know, everybody takes lumps. And he's a freshman. You were playing against an older player, and you struggled defensively. And that's why I said I was high on that. I had heard you had taken that step.
Yeah.
But I'm even happier that you obviously are acknowledging that.
I mean, I didn't shy away from like I'm taking it. I'm owning it. And you're going to see a different defensive player for sure. Like you can hold me to it, and anybody who thinks otherwise can hold me to it as well.
That's all I'm let him. I never need to cut the cameras.
I'm pushing all my chips in.
I'm with you.
Plus, he's another DMV guy.
Here we go again.
We're everywhere.
No, he's from Bahamas. All right.
I love that answer.
I'm a dual citizen.
Donnie, I got you as the breakout player of the year this year. I think you're having a great year. This one's for both of you guys. Dealt with injuries last year, in and out a little bit. How has that motivated your off season or pushed you a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, me, I don't know the exact number, but I think collectively me and JJ probably played in 8 games together, if that.
Early.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people wrote us off. Like, they counted us out early. Like, we heard all of it. Like, so we're motivated as ever. Like, we're hungry, and we're just going to use it as fuel to get better.
Yeah, 100%. For me, going through those injuries, I was able to, really slow the game down for myself, watch more film, and see things from a different lens that I wasn't able to see, while being on the court. So now just being able to apply that my senior year, apply the knowledge that I've gained and just stuff like that, I think that my game is going to just jump, just to levels that it wasn't at before.
How much more comfortable do you think both of you, and JJ, you probably even more with a point guard, with Nathan coming in? Take some of the pressure off you to play some point last year. You're probably more natural playing off the ball, and that's where you're going to play more this year.
I mean, yeah, having a player like Nate George, he can score, play, make, whatever. It's a lot. It takes a lot off, for all of us. It makes the game so much easier, opens the floor up, and then obviously it allows me, Donnie, to make plays not only for ourselves but for our team. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like playing with a point guard as elite as Nate George is, like it simplified my game and allowed me to focus on doing the other things that will help our team win. Like I don't have to worry about hunting shots anymore, doing like small things. Like I know he's going to get me in position where I'm comfortable with the ball, and just being all around just an elite level player.
How hungry? How hungry do you think they are? The fans are in Syracuse. Now you've been there a couple of years. You've been there a year, but seriously, like when you walk around. Do you feel it a little bit of like these fans like, hey, you know what? We're used to winning. Like, we need this again. I mean, Syracuse is Syracuse basketball. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. That's what it's been forever.
Yeah, like you said, walking around, you feel it. We haven't been into the tournament in 4 years now, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're hungry. But I will say this. We as a team, we're hungrier than the fans, and that's what means the most. So we're gonna show it.
I'm sure you think of like what it would be to get this program back. Yeah. You're walking around, the city and the campus, and like, man, you guys will. Yeah, you'll be stars. Yeah, you'll be like Tyler Hansbrough, and he didn't have to pay for anything when he was at Carolina. Nothing.
Wrong air.
Gotta be careful with that one.
Everyone talks about you three.
That's right.
What you get. Everyone talks about you three guys, rightfully so. And one of the reasons I'm so big on it because I think you guys have a top 3 point guard, a top 3 off guard, and a top 3 forward on your roster is why I'm so big on you guys. Who are we not talking about? Because I think William Cowell's going to be huge for you guys, his defensive and switching ability. But, is it Nate Kinks? Like, who has come on campus? If it's Kyan Anthony, who's impressed you guys so far in the offseason?
For me, I feel like a lot of people sleeping on and not a lot of people talking about. I think for me, it's Tyler Betsy. From Cincinnati, we're in the same class. I played against him at AAU. Like, he's 6'8", 6'9", like 230, can stretch the floor. Versatile defender, like, can do everything on the court. And I feel like he's going to be the X factor for us.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I will also have to add in Nate Kings for sure. I mean, I know you touched on his name a little bit, but not a lot of people know who he is and what he brings to any team that he plays for. And I feel like he's going to have a breakout year and prove a lot of people wrong.
Give us a little bit about Kyan, because everybody wants, Carmelo's son, it looks like he's going to come off the bench. I've seen him play a lot in AAU. When he gets it going, he can get it going. Yeah. Obviously, the key for him is probably shot selection as much as
he ain't getting a lot of those with this group.
No, but I think he can fill a very important role coming off the bench as a guy that, hey, you need a scoring punch, he'll give it to you.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, he's young, like he's still learning like where to get his shots from, but like he can play. And one thing people don't notice, like despite like who his parents are, like he's hungry. Like if you don't know who his parents are, you would think he's a regular kid just trying to find a way and carve out a role in a college team. So he's competitive, and he's not going to use his name to his advantage. Like he's trying to get it like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, what Donnie said, he's just a worker. You know, like you said, people know him for scoring, but one thing that I'm really proud of for him that he improved on coming into college is his defensive ability. I mean, he has the length and the athleticism to do it, but in high school he didn't really have to do that. Like you said, he was more of a scorer. That's what he was relied on for. But, you know, this year he's around people that, you know, a team that can do that for him. And, you know, he's learning that he can impact the game in other ways.
Well, listen, great to have you guys. JJ, I've always been a huge fan of JJ since the day that I asked Mike Bray. I said, who does he play like? And this is going to be too old for Tyler, but you're going to know this name. He may not remember it. Andrew Toney. Yeah. The Boston Strangler, my favorite player that ever played, ever in the NBA. He was that good. He was a killer.
I tried to recruit him when he was in high school. I tried to get to him early, and then he blew up. He blew up, and I was like, but no, I started pulling cotton out my pocket. Ain't got enough.
I can't wait to see the jump in your game. I mean that. Again, defense. You do that. No stopping either one of you.
That's why I was so happy to hear him say that.
No, it's like, hey, that's maturity.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what that is. It's a freshman.
Yeah.
It's a little different, right? You haven't played defense before.
You don't know what you don't know.
Now you know you got to play defense. So Syracuse on the upward trajectory. We're going to come back after the break. We're going to be joined by the architect of this new Syracuse program, Red Autry.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of nonstop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day. Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night, with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have the story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight, this is your moment, your room. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is trending.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Hummel podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider Podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride. The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day.
All right, welcome back, ACC Media Day. We got everybody here for Red Autry. We got the whole crew. Randolph Childress, Terrence Oglesby, Tyler Hansbrough, John Henson. I'm Jeff Goodman, and we got the Syracuse legend here. Before we start, I have to pay our respects to Lawrence Moten.
Appreciate it.
I have to.
Appreciate that.
I grew up watching him. You played with him. Obviously, rest in peace, Lawrence Moten, who passed away about a week or so ago. What did he mean to you?
You know, obviously I played alongside with him, but he was a brother. You know, he introduced me to the DMV area. You know, on my breaks I would go home with him. So not only was he a teammate, but he was a friend. You know, and one of the most upbeat people. You know, anybody that knows him, you know, always smiling, always upbeat. It's been a hard time to kind of, to kind of put this to go through this process, but just wonderful guy.
Tell you what, one of the best of all time. One of the best players of all time. I mean,
we call him the quiet storm, man.
Yeah.
You look up, you might mark 18 down at any time, 18, 20. If he really had it going, he'll give you 30, and it was still like, did he really have that much?
Yeah.
You know?
Is it as shocking to you as it is to everyone else? I mean, it's going back, I think the whole DMV area. Back then, as you know, he's joking, saying he introduced to the area. We always battled. It was a New York, D.C. battle back then. We're all the same class. I've still struggled with it, man. I just can't wrap my mind and just understanding that he's no longer here. And to lose him and Moten, who were teammates. Mm-hmm. And Charlie Moe came to play for me at Wake, and to lose both of those guys is, man.
Sons.
Yeah, right? Really young age,
obviously. Just moved back to the area.
Just got home.
He was, doing some really good things. He was a GM of a high school.
Academy.
Upper academy. He was always about the community, staying in the community, love. Again, a positive light, man. He was just a positive guy.
All right, let's try to get to basketball here and everything. And I know the guy next to me here, and he's not alone. We all think this is the year. Mm-hmm. This is the year. You and I talked about a month ago, and I said that to you. I think you have all the pieces this year, finally, and the resources. Part of it is pieces, part of it is resources to retain those pieces. Yeah. But you put together a team that I think fits together well. The two Nates, right? You got the point guard Nate, who makes life easier for JJ and Donnie, and you got the shooter Nate.
For me too.
Right? Yeah. It makes life easier for you to draw that stuff up. Yeah. But how much better do you feel walking into here today as you did maybe a year ago?
I like this team, and I like this team because of we had a really challenging summer, and they responded, as a group, and so the joy that they have for each other is exciting. I look forward to getting into the gym with them every day, and so I'm excited for this team, and I'm excited for everybody to see this team play.
How much better will you be defensively? I think your ability with William Kyle, his ability to switch your size. Everyone knows about your talents and offensive power. You returning as second leading scorer and everyone else. We'll get into that. But how much better will you be defensively? Because I think pick and roll defense, you have a ton of options of how you can choose to defend teams.
Yeah, we got options. We got a versatile group. I think, things that we wanted to address was our positional size, from our guards all the way up. And, all of our guards now 6'3", 6'5", 6'6", 6'4", and they're big and strong. So, we can do some different things, like you said. And our forwards are all 6'8", 6'9", So, again, love our size, love our versatility and our length right now. And they all can move their feet. So, we increased our athleticism and our speed this summer.
You look at J.J. Starling, who was terrific last season, but he only shot 27% from three. What impact is a guy like Nate George going to bring to him, making his life a little bit easier? I mean, he's pretty special as far as his floor vision is concerned.
I think it takes, having someone, another running mate, someone that can get him the ball.
Sure.
And he doesn't have to initiate everything. Last year he did everything for us, and I think this year he gets a chance to, play with the ball in his hand and then be able to move off the ball and be able to have a little bit more space to operate with the pieces around. So I think overall, him scoring, I think you're going to start to see a little bit more of his playmaking abilities, and I think that's gotten overlooked. But he had to do that for us last year. Yeah. So I think you'll see more his overall game this year.
I'm going to ask one more, just because we're talking about Nate George, but there's a lot of mouths to feed on this team. Like a lot of guys that like to score. Kyan comes in, he likes to score. Sadiq, he needs to touch it every now and then. Donnie and JJ, obviously. How has it been for Nathan coming from Georgia Tech and kind of feeling out that process with all these guys? Because that's a lot of guys that like buckets.
Yeah. I think probably by the third week, we were talking. He was like, "Man, Coach, I got a lot of options." He said, I said, "That's good, man. That's what you need as a point guard, man." So again, he does a really good job of getting guys the ball when they need them. He's kind of taken back, because he can score the ball, so I think he's excited about that. But, I told him, we still going to need him to take over the games and score as well. So, again, he's excited about that. But this group, I think they all understood, when we got this team together, that everybody was going to have to make a sacrifice, Yes. So I think it's been a good mixture. It's been a good mixture.
Coach, Donnie Freeman, I think he's going to have a breakout year, but he talked a lot about defense here. Said it wasn't pretty. It's not a beauty contest, but what area have you particularly worked on in the off season?
We worked a lot on that end of the floor. With our size, really trying to maximize our length. So we a lot of conceptual stuff of how you can maximize, our body, our length, and still kind of be able to, guard people. So again, we challenged them. We did a lot of stuff defensively as a group and individuals. It was most that I've ever done as a coach. Working on that stuff in the summertime.
Coach, I talked to you this year. You talked about that alpha, right? The team finding that alpha and accepting the roles. Do you feel like that this year it started early, not necessarily mid-season, like when JJ started rolling? Does your team kind of have their roles set out in the sense of who's going to be the guy, or are you still figuring that out?
No, I think, organically, I think, we have, I would say we have more of like a three-headed monster.
Yeah.
And we have some great guys that are good for the locker room as well. But I think, obviously you talk about Nate George and JJ, those two right there, stick out in particular. Those two guys have really taken on a lot of the leadership responsibilities and the voice, like the voice in the gym, the voice in the locker room, the voice outside of the locker room. I'm excited for that. But those two guys have organically kind of taken that.
Because I think that's what you was missing last year. Mid-season, you guys are still trying to figure out who's, so that'll be good.
Yeah, that always helps. You need to have someone, being able, to echo and be able to kind of hold people accountable. Randolph, that's what, that's the job, right? Every team has that guy, right? Sometimes it may be not the point guard, but it may be someone, but you got to have someone to be able to, lead the group, so to speak, and have that voice.
So one of the things being a head coach is you got to deal with parents. Sometimes they're a pain in the ass, right? Like, so tell me, how's Carmelo been so far? You know,
Melo's great. Melo's great. He lets me. We don't even discuss anything except with the program. I think
the games haven't started yet.
No, he's good. He's good. He's good.
I love watching Melo in the AAU games.
He's the best.
His nickname Melo, man. He chills.
He's the best.
He's a riot. I mean, he gets so into it.
Yeah, he's into it. No, he's into it. Again, he's been great. That was, us recruiting Cayenne, obviously everybody, but Melo has done a really great job with Cayenne and letting Cayenne be Cayenne.
So describe for people that haven't seen Cayenne yet, what type of player he is and what type of role you expect from him this year.
I think, Cayenne, he's a gifted basketball player that could score the basketball. We would expect that, right? But he does a little bit more. He can pass. We've put the ball in his hand in the summertime to help his development, to be able to, I think all good scorers have a good feel for the game, and he does. He has great vision. He can pass. And we were very surprised with that, and I think that's helped him. But he's a guy that that can really, he can score, he can shoot it, he can get to the rim, he's crafty. He's a guy, he puts you in the mind of a guy I had my first year in Judah Mintz, is that, he's a guy that's crafty, that can, he can slither, he can get people up in the air. He has a very mature game. So again, I'm excited for him.
Red, I've known you for a really long time, so it doesn't surprise me how well you handle the distractions. But I think it's fair to say how well this season goes will be how well your players block out all the distractions, whether you're just talking about having Melo in a building, but I'm talking about the expectations of this program and where it's been, and your fans expect you guys to be at the very top.
That's right.
No, just as much as anybody in this league. I know how you manage that, if you care to share how you do it, but more importantly, how does your players and your team manage that?
I always tell our guys, to have that type of support and people that are watching and caring and commenting and that whole social media thing, like obviously that's part of it, right? Like that's part of it, right? That's why you come there, right? The same people that cheer you on are the same people that sometimes express the frustration. You guys know, right? But that's part of it, man. So I don't think it can't be personal, and that's where we talk about us in a room and, playing for each other. And obviously we're playing for our fan base. We're playing for, something bigger than us, Syracuse University. So it's something that we talk about, and it's part of it. It's a good thing. You'd rather have people care than not care. That's what it really comes down to.
Well, listen, we appreciate you stopping by. Always good to see you. Year 3. Going to be the year.
I'm excited. We're ready.
Man, I'm on record. I pushed all my chips.
We're all in.
JJ.
I think we're all in.
Donnie.
Yeah.
I'm going broke. Or I'm hitting the Powerball.
If Donnie doesn't defend, who's going to hear it? This guy.
He told me. He stood out here. He said he got to step up because I reminded him of the weight gain.
Oh yeah. That's right.
I don't think he liked hearing about it. But
it was. Listen, guys, I'm telling you, it was bad.
It was bad.
And within the first TV timeout, he had to sit him down.
Yeah. He's grown. He's grown. He's ready now.
Yeah,
he's ready.
He sounds like it.
You guys are smart, so good question. I like that.
Red Autry, Syracuse head coach, going into year 3. We'll come back after the break. We'll have Georgia Tech joining us next.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day.
All right, welcome back. ACC Media Day. Jeff Goodman here with John Henson, Terrence Oglesby. We gave RC and Hansbrough a little bit of a timeout.
Well earned.
Right?
Well earned.
Timeout. But we are joined now by the Georgia Tech duo, Bandongo, Kawasi Reeves. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too.
How's everything?
Good.
Listen, you had a hell of a year last year, but I know Coach Stoudemire is expecting even more from you this year. What has he kind of preached to you in the offseason that he wants to see from you that maybe you weren't able to deliver last year?
I would just say he's just demanding an attention to detail and a discipline that it takes to win. Because, everybody wants to win, but it takes a recipe and it takes a consistent effort to win.
What about you? Grab that mic.
I would probably say, like what you say, detail and be more of a leader, leading by example this year. Because I feel like it was one of the things I kind of struggled with it. So, yeah, I would say that, yeah.
Hey, bye. You have a front court running mate this year. We know that you're terrific on the glass. You've been able to score the last few years. You extended your range last season. But now you guys have a 4-5 combo with you and Muhammad Silla. Tell us about the freshman that's going to be your front court running mate.
Man,
I need a scouting report from both of you. First Bai and then Kawasi.
We're lucky enough to have a player like Moore, especially this year. And he a freshman, but he don't play like a freshman. He don't do the things that freshmen is supposed to do. So I'm super excited to play with him. Super excited to play with all the freshmen that we have coming in this year.
Underrated freshman class, really.
Yeah. Really, we have a lot of freshmen that actually really want to play and that actually really know how to play, and they compete every day. And I feel like I can wait to show them the world. I can wait to show them to Georgia Tech, the student, Georgia Tech, Atlanta, everybody, because I feel like this year would be such a different year. Because with the front court we got Peyton too and Cole, man.
A lot of options.
Doesn't he take a lot of pressure off of you too, coming in? Because obviously he, another big who can block shots, can run. I mean, like the two of you together, I don't know how many teams are going to have better 4-5 than two of you guys.
Right. Yeah. I'm super excited for this year. Super excited.
Question. When I played, we struggled at Georgia Tech. So I get to finally ask this question. What makes y'all home court advantage? You finished 12-2 at home. What makes it so tough to play down at y'all's place?
It's the fans, it's the culture, I would say it's everything, because being around the coaching staff that we had, I feel like, and everything that they teaching us, pay attention to detail, and all the things that Dan we want us to focus, because if you know Dan, he did a lot of great things, and he know what he's talking about. So being around like a coach like him, it just help us to focus more, and we just gotta know what we want from this year, and just keep doing our best to get the best out of us. For sure.
Kawasi, what was last year like for you? Obviously the injury, just 6 games into the year. How frustrating was it? And I assume you're 100% now, but just to ask and make sure, are you 100%? And I guess what's going to be the difference we're going to see from even last year, you picking up where you left off?
Yeah. For me, it was pretty rough. I never had a season-ending injury ever. But I think having a good support system in this program and coaching my teammates, they helped me, wheel my way back and figure out my rehabilitation process and things of that nature. And as far as this year goes, I've been learning our offense even more. Me and Bai, we've been here since Coach first stepped on campus. And that goes a long way in understanding his system and his demands in leadership and echoing that to teammates.
Bai, I'm going to ask you a really honest question, and I want your honest answer if you could. You have a lot of interest. You went to study abroad. Think you're writing a book. You've got a lot going on. And I mean this when I'm saying it. You've got a lot of natural tools on the floor. Where is basketball at for you? because I think when somebody sees somebody like you with so many natural gifts and the explosion hasn't come yet, has the work been put in this summer to where we can expect Kowacie Reeves to be the guy that he knows he can be? Where is basketball on that list? Because you have a lot of things going on.
I think basketball is definitely the top priority.
Yeah.
And it's not even so much for me. It's just for the people that invested in me. I think I can show gratitude more than actually telling them gratitude. I think I can show my gratitude in my play and in our team's accomplishments. For instance, someone like Coach, who's been unwavering in his commitment and his support to me as an individual. I think what more to show the characteristics that he's instilling in us as young men than to win games, because that's essentially what he's going to get credit for. And being a big part of that, I think that is going to, bring me my joy. So I would definitely say basketball is at the top. I haven't missed a day since I got out the boot.
Yeah.
You had a third book? Did you do a third book? Or what do you, 2 books? 3?
Yeah, I've done 2, yeah.
2?
2, yes, sir.
You got any more coming?
Maybe. Yeah.
You're working on one. You're working on one.
He's been in the gym all summer.
No, I know, but you can be in the gym all summer,
That's
but
true.
there's other things.
Absolutely,
You gotta. You don't want to be in the gym all the time.
That's right. We don't want to go stir crazy.
There are other things.
Right.
I mean, there are
Henson,
things.
he fishes a lot.
Fish.
Right?
Fish.
What else you got?
That's about
Golf. You're not a good golfer, though.
I'm not a good golfer at all. But,
Nobody.
I get out
Nobody
there.
this tall is a good golfer.
You guys go? Anybody golf? Golf?
Yeah, don't golf. You're too tall.
No,
You're too tall to golf.
You know how much it costs to golf in the city of Atlanta?
Probably a lot of money. Probably a lot of
It's
money.
not nothing.
Go ahead, Henson. Sorry.
Is there a guy that came in and you maybe a guy at the portal that you've seen, or who's impressed you this summer, either from the freshman or the portal guys? Like, wow, he's
Except
nice.
for Mo. No, we already talked about Mo.
Yeah.
We know how good he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously Mo Silla's future pro. We got like Cam Kraft, really good, like 44% 3-point shooter. You will see
Big
this
time
season.
shooter.
Really, really good shooter. Overall, freshman group in general, they got really good ball skills and they're ready to play. And I think overall, just all the pieces in general. But like I said, Cam is a guy that's definitely going to stick out with his shooting ability. In the freshman group, you'll be able to see them. And we got like returners like Jaden Mustaf, who's a really good.
I heard he's been really good. Yeah. Really good lately, right? Yeah. Make a jump.
Really good.
Yeah. You need that. You need that from him. All right, Bob, give me the best thing that you've been able to do with NIL. I think I know the answer here, but what's the coolest thing that you've been able to do with NIL?
Hold your mic up. I got to build my parents' house, so yeah, it's.
They're back in Senegal?
Yeah, I rebuild it, so rebuild it, so it's probably one of the coolest things ever.
I mean, one of? That's unbelievable to me that you could do that for your parents and give back like that.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, that's got to be awesome.
Appreciate that.
Very cool that you were able to do that.
Yeah, appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
You guys lose Nate George. He goes up a little further north. Lamar Washington comes from Pacific, though. And this is a guy who's built his game on passing, almost 13 and a half, 5 and 5, or 5 and 6, basically. How is he different than what you've had? And then what kind of player is he as a point guard? A little bit bigger, 6'5". What's the scouting report on him?
Well, he started at Texas Tech, and he's coming from Pacific. So usually guys that go down the level or start in a mid-major or low-major team, they have a different type of grit as when it comes to urgency on the court as far as their physicality and their mentality. So I think he brings that from a toughness standpoint in which we need definitely. And I would just say, yeah, that's really his biggest strength to me. That mentality, along with his game, obviously, but definitely that mentality.
Kowacie, you're a smart dude. Like every time I talk to you, I'm blown away. I just want to. I felt like that question I asked earlier needed to be asked. But you're going to have a great year. Lamar's going to be a part of that. What does he do for you? Because being a lob threat, extending your range out. What's Lamar? What are you learning about his game as you move forward, coming up into the season that can help you?
I mean, obviously we had some good point guard last year, but I feel like Lamar is one of them good point guard because He play with the great pace.
Yeah.
I love his pace. He don't rush. He do Lamar thing. I feel like and them I was talking to them about it. Coach Stoudemire, and he told me like he been knowing Lamar for a while. And he really tough. Lamar he really a tough dude. And I've been around him. We hang out sometimes. We do things together. And I feel like it's really gonna help us, not only me, but the whole team with his pace, with the way he do things. And he a great leader. He like to lead. He like to do the little things. So yeah, I would say it would help a lot.
Last thing I got for you guys: Can Coach get in and do anything in practice anymore, or is he too old?
Well, you would think that, but I mean, if he has to demonstrate something to the point guards, you're like, dang, Coach is nice. And one more thing, I was thinking, I watched him growing up.
Yeah?
Yes. Kendall Marshall, John Henson, Harrison.
Oh, they were good.
I watched him growing up.
I mean, they would have won the title if Kendall Marshall didn't get hurt.
I had a good run, man.
He did. He had a good run, no doubt. Have him
put in
YouTube
John Henson tape.
Yeah, check it out. He could play. I mean, talk about defensively. He couldn't score, but
see, that's the thing. Like, I couldn't score. I averaged 13. I could go get a bucket.
They just threw it up to him. Look at him.
Look, Jeff, see, Jeff,
well, listen. Yeah, he did. Good luck
Thank you guys,
this year,
man.
guys. Appreciate you joining us. Good luck, and like I said, both
they're
going to
beat some teams. Jeff, they're going to beat some teams. They put together a roster that's talented, especially
got to get off to a good start.
They will.
Right? That's a key for you guys. Get off to a good start. Get the momentum. Don't lose a couple of those early season games that I think have hurt you guys the past couple of years. So,
yes, sir.
Kawasi, bye. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
and we will come back next with Georgia Tech head coach and Arizona alum, Damon Stoudemire.
There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have his story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight, this is your moment, your rule. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is Trent.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of nonstop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68, opening day.
All right, welcome back. ACC Media Day. I'm Jeff Goodman, joined by Randolph Childress, Terrence Oglesby, Tyler Hansbrough, John Henson's, I don't know, bathroom break or something. And we are joined by Georgia Tech head coach and Arizona alum. I always got to say that with you.
Sneaks it in there.
Damon Stoudemire. Always got to say it, man. Listen, I grew up watching this dude. I mean, I'm an Arizona guy too, and the pride I have for watching this dude. I asked those players, I said, I know we're the same age. Whatever. Shut up. But I asked those dudes. I'm like, can he still get in and do anything in practice or anything? They were like, yeah, not much. Not much. Those days are long gone, aren't they?
No, it's done. I'm done. I'm retired.
You're too old.
These two dudes know what that means.
Definitely.
I laughed at it.
Definitely.
This dude took up pickleball now.
Oh, you pickleball?
I try. I mean, it's much easier, but it's not a thing of beauty. So.
That's why I play golf.
Nothing you did was a thing of beauty.
No.
Okay.
What was the thing of beauty that you ever did?
Not a lot.
Exactly. Damon, is this the best you've felt coming here for Media Day a month before the season? I mean, you've got a front line between Bai and Mo that you will put up against any 4 or 5 in the country. Your guards are older now. Is this the best you felt?
It is. I comfortable with where the program is, but comfortable with where we are as a team right now. Even though we got to, we're gonna get better, but we just. You have a comfort zone when you got Bai, when you had Kawasi coming back, and I haven't talked a lot about him, but Jay Mustafa got better. He's gotten better. He's been balling, and Mo, to see him every day, you don't get a chance to. It's been different for me because I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot, and it's just. His motor, his athleticism, his rebounding, 2-hand rebounding, old school. You know what I mean? And it's the way he 2-way runs, and it's I've only been around it from that standpoint for what he brings to. I only been around it one other time, and that was when I was at Arizona with Aaron Gordon, where I seen the motor each and every day, like. The motor, it's the motor. He can guard, he can switch ball screens, he can do all the different things. And, you just don't want to put a lot on a kid because he's still a kid.
Yeah.
So you just sit back, you watch, and you just want to see his growth. Still have some up and downs, but he'll have more.
And he's 6, just for those who don't know yet, 6'10".
Yeah, 6'10", 6
top 20 recruit.
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd you get him, Damon? How'd you get him? You don't have that Carolina NIL
Nah, well, you know what? It's
relationships.
It's great to have relationships.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people don't know is him and Bai are both from Senegal.
So that helped big time.
Yeah. So that's what helped.
Yep.
There was a comfort level.
Yep.
Mo came and he's seen his boy and he's comfortable. But it's been great to see them. It's funny because this word don't get used a lot anymore, but I know that these two know. Man, it's great to see that big man buddy ball. There's a lot of buddy ball being played out there. You know what I mean? And so we'll be, from that standpoint, we'll be a little more traditional. I don't want to do this, but I will do this to win games. Sometimes you got to control the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, you just got to make sure. The biggest thing I'm trying to get my guards to understand right now is less is more.
Yeah.
You don't got to do a whole lot. We know what the bread and butter is. We got shooting. We got Wasey. Cam Kraft has been really good. I got a couple freshmen that are emerging. We got another really good freshman. Kai Fleming. He's going to be really good. Man. He's going to be really good. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the depth. I'm excited about all those things. And, it's just a matter of now the cohesion and building that on the floor.
Damon, I don't know if there's a team in the country that had more DNPs for injury than you guys did a year ago. I mean, it was unreal.
It was crazy.
It's
every time I was down there, we're missing 4
different
guys.
lineup, nearly every game. I mean, I know that's past you now. I know you've been talking nausea about Nate George moving on. But he was a really good player and led this league in assists for you for years. Who has stepped up from a production standpoint to take on that responsibility? That's one point. The second one is Bai Dongo taking another step?
Well, I think, with Nate, the way he played and been there from day one, we don't have that. We have multiple people that can do different things.
Right.
So you got to take advantage of that. And again, I tell people, Randolph, it's a part of coaching. You just got to change on the run. You either gonna be stubborn or you gonna change a little bit, right? And so we got Jay Mustaf, we got Lamar Washington, we got Chaz Kelly that came from BC, and man, we got a wild card. We got a wild card.
Who's the wild card? No, don't bite your tongue on that one.
We got a wild card, man. And,
Is he German?
It's just one of the. Huh?
Is it the German kid that's coming over? Is that a wild card or?
Well, Dobby.
Yeah.
Dobby's not a wild card.
Yeah.
Dobby going to be a known, but from just a point guard position, he's not necessarily a point, but Chatfield, little Eric Chatfield, like nobody talking about him.
You know the position, so I'm not questioning that.
Exactly.
Nobody knew Nate George until he put that uniform on, and everybody's like, "Where the hell did Damon Stoudemire find this guy?" So if you stamp him, then it's legit.
Well, he has a ways to go. It might not be for today, but damn, I just got a little more toughness than I think people people will know. But I just think that we got 4 to 5 guys that aren't pure point guards, but they're guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot, call it that. And so what we try to do and what I try to do is now I'm taking it back to my old Boston days, and it's like, man, get a
snatch it and
rebound.
go.
We got multiple guys who can run, who can dribble, and that'll be a bonus for us because I think as good as Nate played for us at time, it worked against us. Because everybody knew what it was, you know what I mean? And so we couldn't run offense at times. And, as he went, we went, you know what I mean? And this year's group, is just totally different, And, with Bai, it's crazy because he started off slow last year.
We talked about it.
Yeah, he started off slow. And we got into it a lot too.
We
man.
talked about that. We landed. I had you guys so I had them SEC ACC Challenge in Oklahoma. The game ends. I bump into Damon walking out, and Damon says, "Everybody got to meet me back in Atlanta tomorrow." By his people, everybody got to meet me in Atlanta. We got to have a conversation.
Brought everybody to the house.
He was like, I want everybody associated with him. Meet me in Atlanta when it's playing land. We got to meet tomorrow morning. Now, mind you, we're out there. The game it's it's mid 11, 12 o'clock at night. He's like, hey, 9 o'clock in the morning. Y'all get to Atlanta. I don't care how you get there. We got a meeting and we got some things to iron out about Bai. It worked. Whatever you said to him.
Well, he had got a little sick early in preseason, and he had some lingering effects. But once ACC play came, he got back to being the guy that we knew he was capable of. And so this year, it's crazy. And I'll say this because I remember watching Tyler play, and this is what I try to tell Bai. And I was definitely not in the meetings, but I'm pretty sure Coach Williams was saying something like this. Everybody started talking about, hey, I want to see you shoot jumpers. I want to see that. No, man, we going to make the main thing be the main thing. Rebound that damn basketball. Okay, finish around the bucket. You got 15-footers and stuff like shoot them. No problem. But, man, don't be getting out here trying to do something and be somebody that you're not. And I think that's the biggest thing with Bai. I think that, understanding the assignment, understanding who he is. When you got a guy like Mo, and then you got even Peyton Marshall, who's down to 285, by the way. If you got guys like that on defense, the opposing team going to have to make a decision. You can only box out one guy. So somebody going to be running free, and that's what excites me about Bai, is he'll be able to run free a little bit this year. With Mo will be able to run free, but I do think that Randolph, he's ready to take the next step. And I'll say this, and I've seen the maturity in him. I don't know if the next step, is going to be 16 and 14 and nothing like that. Yes, I think he's capable of being a double-double guy. But the next step for him is being a leader, and I've seen the maturity in him, and it just gives. I'm telling you, and we've all been older players on team. Man, there's nothing like being in practice and a coach. You know what a coach wants. The player. No, we don't do it that. Yeah, we don't do it that way. We don't do it that way. No. That's wrong. Don't do it that way. I mean, he
finally got a leader.
Yes,
is what you're saying.
Yes, and that's been big. That's been big for me. Not gonna lie, that's been really big for me.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up. Keeping the main thing the main thing. I just questioned Kwesi about that because he's got a lot of interest. Like he's studying abroad, he's writing books, he's doing all this. He was hurt a lot last year. Like, are we going to see something different from him this season as far as his focus level? Because the talent, the natural talent, we talked about it last year, like it's there. It's just a matter of, is he going to be completely engaged in becoming the player that we know he can be?
So I think that with Kwesi, I think he's going to hit his stride this year. But this is he's an
unbelievable kid. I feel like I need to preface everything I say by saying that. He's an incredible kid, incredibly intelligent, the whole thing. I just know how good he could be.
Right. And this is what I learned to you, is that sometimes I think what makes Kwesi comfortable, calm, and who he can be as a basketball player are those outside interests. Those calm him. Those things.
Is that a little bit like Jaylen Brown has?
It's funny you say that, because I just told somebody the other day. I said, now he got a lot of JB in him now. From the standpoint, they're smart guys, but I think Kwesi loves basketball, and it's not that he can take it or leave it, but he just don't live and die it. And so I think that he can still be successful playing this game with that. And I think that last year, I think that early on, when he got injured, and we've all been injured before, I think that he might have gotten his own head a little bit. And so for me, it's like, hey man, look, don't worry about that. Just red shirt. Come back next year.
You're right.
And I think he's going to be good though. And I think we're going to play him at some four as well in small ball, and that's going to be good for him too.
Well, we are out of time. I feel bad. Tyler didn't get a chance to ask you a question. I didn't get a chance to put you in the hot seat and ask you about the time that you lost your phone before the Memphis UConn title game, AAC title game.
Oh,
I know. You were sweating. I heard. Pastor told me you were sweating what off.
I lost my phone. I was supposed to be going through an interview. I had a whole bunch of stuff going on at that time, because that was the time that Josh, look at that. So, and I real quick, 30 seconds. So what happened was that it just so happened that I had all the scouts for that tournament. It just fell that way. So I had all the scouts.
It's the worst, by the way.
It's the worst. So I had all the scouts, and then unbeknownst to a lot of people, I was meeting Pacific Athletic Director on that Monday too, and Josh knew it. So I'm doing that. I'm studying Pacific stuff. I'm looking at a whole bunch of things.
His phone's gone.
And man, my goddamn phone. I lost my dang phone.
Didn't you go to bed and not have it? Wasn't it a full day?
It was all bad.
You were hurt.
Yeah, it was all bad. It was all bad, man. I was thrown off. And we was in Orlando, but.
All right, there you have it.
All right.
We got a little bit of it. Damon Stoudemire, Georgia Tech head coach. Love you, man. Good to see you as always.
Thanks.
We'll be back. We'll be joined by the Pitt Panthers next here on the Field of 68.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have his story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight. This is your moment. Your rule. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is Trent.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68, opening day.
All right, welcome back. ACC Media Day here in Charlotte. Now joined by Randolph Childress and John Henson. And we got the Pittsburgh duo here, Brandon Cummings, Cam Corum. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you as well.
Everything good?
Yes, sir. Everything.
Yeah, you guys ready for a little bit of a breakout year this year? Both of you got an opportunity now. Yep. And I'll start with you, Brandon. Obviously, averaged about 6 a game last year. We're a piece. Now I think a lot more is going to be expected of you this year. I know, talking to Jeff Capel, we'll talk to him here in a little bit. He thinks this is a year that you can really make a big jump.
Yeah.
What have you done in the offseason to be able to be ready for that?
Man, I've done so much, it's a lot of work that you got to put in, going from 5th or 6th on the scouting report to being, whatever it's going to be this year. It's a big jump. Higher up, right?
Yes.
It's a big jump, and, it requires a lot of work in the off season to be put in. So, I'm in the best shape of my life. Countless hours in the gym, early morning wake ups, late nights in the gym, I've done it all. So, I think I'm really prepared to have a great season.
Your brother helping you on that end a little bit? You've been working out with Nelly?
I couldn't even tell y'all the things that he had me doing in the summer, man. He's a crazy guy, but I love him, man. That's my brother.
Bieber.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about how you got that nickname.
I've been wondering that too.
Yeah, so it started off as B-Boy. Whenever I was a baby, I think either my mom or my grandma, I don't remember exactly, but they called me B-Boy, and one of those two, my mom and my grandma, just started saying B-Ba, just shortening it up, feel me? Like, they just shortened it up, and it wasn't spelled the same way. It was like B-B-A or B-B-A-H or something like that, and then the B-E-E came in, but it's just,
It's stuck, though.
It's stuck
everywhere.
For my whole, some people don't even know my real name is Brandon,
Really?
so yeah, for real. I meet people and they're like, Biba, right? Who's Brandon? I'm like, same person, bro, it's me. So yeah, it started whenever I was a kid and it stuck with me.
Cam, man, I got a question. Big fella, Deshaun Jackson coming in from Iowa State. How's it been having him around in the gym and coming from a program like that? How has that been? How does he look?
He's in great shape.
Yeah.
It's good having him just for practices, like just being able to compete against somebody with that size gets you ready for what you'll see in the ACC for sure.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Bringing up those two guys with you and Deshaun, I mean, it's two bigs that you can even use in 4 or 5 ball screens. I don't want to get into your schematic thing, but I think you guys pose problems with teams because of your ability to put the ball on the floor.
Right.
How has the chemistry been between you guys and floor spacing?
It's been great. He's a lot more skilled than
people give him credit for.
Show at Iowa State. Yeah, he's been shooting. Percentage-wise, he's probably one of our best shooters this offseason.
Wow.
3, which is crazy.
He gonna shoot him?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
They just didn't let him shoot him in Iowa State.
Nah, but he has great touch. You could tell by his free throw and his mechanics. He has great touch, but they just didn't let him shoot him. But yeah, no, it's very skilled.
Yeah, we're just hoping, obviously, that he's good to go, cleared. Everything medically works out with him.
For
so
sure.
he's good to go because he'll make a big difference. Guys. We know that. He will make a huge difference.
For sure.
All right, tell me the time that you guys played one-on-one for the jersey number. Tell me what happened here. Right, number 3.
I don't want to make no excuses.
No, I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
Here's
what happened was
I came straight from Cancun. I went from Florida State to Cancun straight to Pittsburgh. First day, straight off the plane, I texted him like, yo, let's get in there.
Right.
Man, he's so fast. And I was just a step behind.
Listen,
and
it was my first day on campus. So I just got up to campus and I'm thinking I'm gonna have a calm day. I'm not really thinking about basketball right now. I'm trying to get used to college. I'm moving away from my family and everything. I'm sitting in my room chilling, get a text. hey, come to the gym. We're gonna play ones. So I'm thinking like,
And
play
did you
ones.
guys know each other really?
We knew each other, but we weren't like how we are now.
Right.
Like, but I'm thinking like, oh, he want to play me for my number. Like, oh, we can do that then. He's like, we could do that. So
We get to run in circles around him like, oh, why is he so quick? Nah, it was
What happened in Cancun, man? It made you a little sluggish. That's what I need to know.
I'm saying I took a couple days off. I was out of
There you go. Now the truth comes out. The excuses.
out of
Were there any rules? Were there any rules to the one-on-one game?
No.
Three dribbles, 2 or 3
Three
dribbles.
dribbles.
Call your own fouls?
Yeah, call
From
your
the top
own
of the key?
fouls.
Top of the key?
Top. It was.
Top of
It's supposed
the
to be
key,
3 spots, but I won the first 2.
Yeah, I ain't touched the ball too much this season. It was crazy.
It was competitive though. It was competitive.
That's
great.
So
Cam, what's going to be the biggest difference in your game this year, though? What are we going to see? Because you certainly have the opportunity now, and I know they need you rebounding wise, right? I mean, that's going to be a major factor here to how successful you are and the team is.
Right. Really just holding down the paint, being more physical. Obviously, I need to have more blocks. I pretty much need to double my rebounds for our team to be the type team we know we have the capability to be. And really just the dirty work things. Like I feel like points and all that will come just because I put the work in. But I actually have to put a concerted effort on rebounding, blocking shots, blocking out, getting in pass lanes, things like that.
Have you guys thought about, and I'm glad you said it because I often say this, the most underrated thing about a team or a player is when you elevate to the top of the scouting report. Because there's a difference in being a guy on the report and being the focus of a scouting report. Have you guys prepared yourself for that? Because last year, over the last couple of years, you had your backcourts. Now you jump to the front of that line and you jump to the front of that line. Like the team's game plan is going to be scheming you guys now. That's going to make your jobs that much more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, throughout all my workouts in the summer, I had that on my mind. Like that was something that I knew it was going to be like this. So, all my workouts, I'm thinking like, listen, coverages is going to be different. You're going to see double coverages. Like it's going to be a whole bunch of different coverages. The attention is going to be on you a little bit more. So, in all my workouts, I made sure that was in my mind and I planned for that and I worked the proper way for that.
What would be your biggest improvement in that process, though?
I think mentally, just approaching the game a little differently. Whether it's, getting off the ball's going to come back to you. Like, I don't have to force my way to, put shots up, coming off a screen, there's 2 on me, get off the ball. I mean, let the big make a play and the ball come back to you. Forcing looks is not the right way to approach that. I think just, playing the game the right way, and I'll see success.
Cam, what about you?
Really just getting in shape. I feel like when you move up on a scouting report, you have to be ready to play 40 minutes. So really just getting in the best shape I could possibly be in, getting stronger, just to physically be able to withstand the coverages and things that I'll see.
I'm going to start with Brandon and Cam. So is there a guy that nobody's talking about that's impressed you this summer, like that you think is going to have an impact this year that maybe people aren't really speaking about?
I mean, I think everybody's gonna have a great year. We got a lot of really good guys that maybe under the radar. Noyes, Barry, DeMarco, the guys from last year, all of the freshmen. Like everybody is really good. Like everybody really loves basketball, and everybody got something that they can bring to this team that's gonna help us be successful.
What about you, Cam?
I'll probably say Amari Witherspoon.
Yes, sir.
That's the name y'all will definitely be hearing soon. He's
one of them ones.
He's a lot like Bub, like a lot like him.
Really?
Yeah. In the sense that I don't want to put no pressures on him, but he couldn't be in college much longer. Yeah, like that's a possibility.
He one of them ones for sure.
Wow. All right, so I couldn't dig up a lot of dirt on you, Brandon. I tried. I got some stuff for you though. I got some good stuff.
Talk to him.
All right, number 1. True or false that you blame the GPS once for coming back late from curfew?
Wait, say that again.
That you blame the GPS for coming back late from curfew.
False.
That's not true?
Nah.
That's bad info?
Yeah.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I had good info there. All right, number 2, that you wear designer pants that are too small.
I probably got a couple pair that I probably need to give away, but I spent good money on them. I'm gonna keep wearing them.
All right, then number 3, did you forget your jersey? First game.
My first game of college, yeah.
What happened?
Coach Ham called my name. I took my warm-up off. I'm running happy, running down the sideline. And then I looked down, I got a compression shirt on. And then one of the assistants that was there for a long time, he just put his head down, shook it, and just pointed to the locker room. He already knew what it was.
Should have waited another minute before you checked in?
It's crazy.
Oh. What expectations for this team this year? I think a lot of people are overlooking you guys right now, especially now with Deshaun not knowing what his situation is going to be. I think a lot of people are like, I don't know why. Like, what needs to happen for this team to be an NCAA tournament team?
I think most importantly, we gotta be a family. We gotta be a brotherhood. Championships, I think, are partially won in the off season before the season starts. Like, you got to really build that bond with your guys, and everybody got to be out there playing for each other. And trust me, we're aware of what people think and what people say. Like, we see it.
How can you not?
Right. But we're ready for it, and we're okay with that because this. I think Cape did an amazing job recruiting his roster because I feel like everybody has a chip on their shoulder, and everybody, even throughout high school, has been overlooked at some point. So this is nothing new to us. Pitt as a program has been in this situation before. People overlooking them, and they made the tournament before, and I think we're ready to do the same. I really do.
I think one of the things that Pitt, and we all know this, that we always thought of when you think of Pittsburgh basketball is what? What do you think? Toughness. Toughness. Like, that's it, right? Like, just MFers.
Right.
We're going to get after you and grind it out and just beat the hell out of you if they have to win a game.
Yep.
Is that the mentality, Cam, that you guys need to have this year?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like our team will go as far as long as we have that mentality, our team, sky's the limit, man. Just the makeup of this team, everybody's strong physically. We don't have any really frail dudes, so if we can compete and wear teams down, like you said, would be good.
Cam, there was a big drop off from 2 years ago to last year in your rebounding. How much of that do you take on personally?
I take full responsibility. Like, there's no excuses. Just got to find a way. And it's really it. Just find a way.
All right. There you have it. Brandon Cummings, Cam Corn.
Appreciate y'all.
Pitt Panthers.
Great having you guys here.
Yes, sir.
Good luck this season. And we'll be right back with their head coach, Jeff Capel, next.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of nonstop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68, opening day.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have the story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight. This is your moment. Your rule. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is true.
All right, welcome back. ACC Media Day here in Charlotte. And I just finished up with a couple Pitt Panthers players. Now we got the head coach, Jeff Capel. How you doing, Jeff?
Good, man. How's everybody doing?
How many tears did you shed recently when you dropped your daughter off at school at Georgetown? How did that? I know from experience.
None in front of her.
Good job.
Wife did, though.
Not in front of her.
No, then he drove home.
Good.
Then he drove back, and
then we drove back.
It was over, right?
And was that the quietest car ride?
My wife and I may have said 3 words to each other on the ride back. And
it's brutal, isn't it?
You know what was the worst part?
Put this up.
The worst part was the next day. Get home.
She ain't there.
And she's not there.
Ain't there.
Going up to her room. That was the worst part. Man.
But you were just taking measurements for the hot tub and all that stuff.
Not yet. He was thinking it. He better. You got to wait till the wife gets okay before he show that.
She's all right. How you doing? I'm good, man. I'm good. Anxious to get started.
How we just we talked to two of your guys, and afterwards, RC looked at me and he said, "The most impressive player we have talked to today," and I would agree, is Brandon.
Hands down.
I believe
He's
it.
just so mature.
Yeah.
Saying all the right things. Obviously, he's got to do the right things now. But man, is he impressive and primed, obviously, for a much bigger role this year.
Yeah, when he played extended minutes last year, he really performed well, and I probably should have played him more.
Yes.
And perhaps that was a mistake by me, but he's a really good player. He's an unbelievable kid from a great family, and probably as important as anything, he really loves and wants to be at Pitt. He's a kid that grew up wanting to be at Pitt, wanting to play there. He saw his older brother have a lot of success in college, and then his last year at Pitt with us, he was basically a part of the team because he was around all the time then, and has had a really, really good spring and summer heading into the fall, and we're excited about watching him continue to grow as a player.
Jeff, of your transfer guys, who's impressed you the most so far? We've seen those two guys, and we know what they're capable of. But this offseason of your transfers, who's impressed you so far?
But I think they've all had moments. I mean, if you look at DeMarco Minor, he's a guy that his numbers aren't going to wow you. Right. Like they just aren't, especially if you just look at shooting splits. The thing that I would challenge people to look at is wins.
Right.
And especially at the point guard position and the impact that he has on winning. He was on an Oregon State team last year that was, I think the year before, they had a really bad season and they won 20-plus games last year, and he was a big reason why. If you look at Barry Dunning, he was a guy that was on a team in South Alabama that was picked to finish last. They won the league, and he led them in scoring and rebounding. And if you look at his last 10 games, if you look at the numbers and the splits, I think it was 48 from the field, 42 from three. He had a 46-point game in there. And so he's long, he's athletic, and it took him a while to find his confidence. Noyes Indrusitis is a guy that he was on a really good Iowa State team last year, didn't play that much, but had a really good high school career, really good FIBA career, but also got a chance to learn in a great program behind a really good player and practice against that. So he's shown flashes. And then Deshaun Jackson, look, I don't know what's going to happen as far as him playing, but we had him this summer. Hopefully we have him. I really like my team if I had him.
Yeah, I would too.
Because of what he brings.
What's the latest
it's
that you can say?
Still from the thing, just, it's got to do some things and see what happens there. The main thing is him. We just want him to be okay. That's right. The main thing, and everyone wants that, and we'll see what happens.
I think the most interesting thing when we're dealing in today in the transfer portal and all these things, it's like, does he fit with my program and what I've developed at this particular school? And when I look at Barry Dunning Jr., started at Arkansas, played a little bit, didn't really play, went to UAB, didn't really play that much. I think goes down and plays at South Alabama. He's really good, and he attacks the glass, and he's aggressive, and he's tough. I see a guy like him coming to play for you. That's your all's MO. There's a certain toughness when you play Pitt. You understand that going in. It seems like you found a good fit with him.
I think so. And, we were very mindful of that when we were just in need and guys that we've had success with.
Sure.
I don't think anyone thought, I look at our team right now, and I'm not making the exact, but 4 years ago, everyone was telling me and telling us that, Nelly Cummings is coming from Colgate. It's not going to translate to the ACC. Greg Elliott didn't start at Marquette. It's not going to translate. Blake Henson hadn't played for 2 years.
Right.
West Virginia had signed Federico. They didn't want him, so they let him out, told him, you can't play for us. Those guys are great for us. They fit what we needed, and they fit in perfectly with Jamarius Burton, and we went out and got a couple of high school kids, and it just fit. And so for us, That's what we feel about Barry. That's what we feel about DeMarco. That's what we feel about Noyes. That's what we feel about DJ if we're able to get him. And then with our freshmen, we feel like that. One of the big things you'll see with us is that the physicality. Last year was I thought we were really good in November and December. We were a top 25 team. We had an injury to a guy it was huge. Damian Dunn's injury was huge because he gave us an edge. You guys that played, you get this. Like, for the rest of the season after he got hurt, I never had in a timeout to say to my team, hey, talk to Pitt. I never had anyone close to getting a tech for talking trash, or we didn't have an edge, and it showed. That's why we lost a lot of the close games, and things like that. And we didn't have a level of physicality. Even if you look at our freshmen, if you look at Roman, from Australia, he was the #1 rugby player.
He's tough.
And he is, it's interesting, man, because we've had him now. He's been there for about a month because he couldn't get his visa. It's hard to get in the country now. But he's been there for a month, and just how much better he's gotten. But the level of physicality and how hard that he plays. We have a couple of other freshmen that come in. Amari Weatherspoon is a kid from D.C., from St. John's High School, same as Ish Leggett. He's 6'5", he's 220, and he's good, like long, really good, really knows how to play. And so we should be much better immediately defensively. The question is, can we score?
Yep.
That's going to be the big question. And we have guys that haven't done it, if you look at percentages, but we think they're capable of doing it. Now we got to go out and do it.
My questions for you is, I think you've done a great job finding guys in the portal, fits your kind of style. How are you doing that, and building your kind of culture at Pitt in the NIL portal era?
Yeah.
Portal era.
It's different, man. It is really, really different. My first 4 years, it was really difficult just trying to figure out how to recruit the Pitt. When I took the job, the year before, Pitt didn't win a conference game. They were the only team in the country that didn't win a conference game. I take the job, I'm going out recruiting, and I'm not talking about nationally, man. I'm going to Cleveland, which is 2 hours away, or I'm going across the state, and they have no idea we're in the ACC. And so it took that. At the end of year 2, there's a global pandemic. So we had 16 months where we couldn't bring anybody on campus. It's really hard to recruit the Pitt on Zoom. And so there were mistakes that we made. I feel like the past 3 years, we've been able to figure out who we are and what we need. And what the portal has allowed us to do is to find that late, is to go and to find guys that we think that fit us, that we've had success with. That's why Barry Dunning, we think, fits us perfectly. That's why DeMarco Minor, we feel like fits us. DeMarco Minor reminds me of those old Big East 1980s, 90s, early 2000s guards that are physical, that just literally beat you up all game. Hopefully we get some of the same whistles that everyone else in the league that we play, that plays physical gets. But we're excited, and I just think finding the right fit for us, for our city, and the competitive spirit that you have to have.
Coach, losing, Lowe and Leggett, right, integral part of your offensive scheme, especially with Lowe kind of being the head of the stake. Have you had to kind of scrap what you were doing and kind of figure out what guys do best, or is it still going to be a similar style offensively?
There'll be some similarities. Mm-hmm. Look, we don't, Jalen obviously is a really good player and a great kid, and we wish him the best. Kids have opportunities, different opportunities to leave now. Mm-hmm. And it's not just a kid leaving for the pros for the money now. You guys, you three would have been paid a lot in college and been able to get a lot. And if that's what happened with him, man, so be it. Good luck to him.
Nobody gonna pay. Nobody's gonna pay. Nobody's gonna pay.
Me or you. Me or I said those three. Me or you. I'm putting me and you in the same spot, man.
T.O.,
But there'll be some similarities, to what we do. But I've always tried every year to look at our personnel and make tweaks and adjustments to what we do. If you look at the previous 2 years, we were really heavy ball screen because of Carrington, and then this past year, Lowe. Mm-hmm. The year before that, with Burton, we didn't do as many ball screens. We posted Burton.
You bullied everybody.
We bullied everybody with Burton. And so, again, we try to adjust to what we have and who we have. We have different iterations. This summer, we thought who we'd be. And then when we got the news with DJ stuff, now we've had to adjust a little bit. We'll figure it out. But the main thing that we have to do, we have to have toughness, grit, competitive spirit every time we touch the floor, and be really good defensively.
All right, we got about 1 minute left. You're as much of a straight shooter as there is in this business. So I'm going to ask you this question. What would you change? If I put you in charge of everything right now, where would you start? What would you change?
Very first thing is that I'd have rules. We have no rules. It's the Wild West. So I would have an age limit on the age you can be in college.
27-year-old kids?
No, you shouldn't have 27-year-olds playing against 18, 19-year-olds. I would have an age limit. I wish we could have, look, these guys are making money, they should, but in every pro league, when a guy signs a contract, you know what they sign. You know, like you look and see this guy signed 3-year, whatever. Like, look, we're pros.
Complete transparency
is what we have. So an age limit, I would have complete transparency with the contract. I'm not saying that it has to be even all the way around, because that's just not the way it is.
But then everybody knows.
Then everyone knows. Everybody, you know what's real. You know what's real. We don't need,
Right.
Jeff, and it also matters to schools.
For sure.
Yeah, that's why I said that. That's your point. I got make sure now.
I heard it stop right now.
Like I heard he got this, and it's just not true.
We can't do that. We can let you do that. Yeah. What I think it'll do, though, to your point, is I think it's not just coaches and letting other ones know. I think it lets universities know.
Yeah.
Right? It lets you know that, hey, we're not doing enough.
Yeah.
If this is what this school is doing, then we can do more. We're nowhere near that.
No question. And I think that's what, look, I think when you look at this era and however long it lasts with this, the teams that are going to have sustained success, they have alignment across the university, the athletic department in the university, and they understand it's an investment.
Yeah.
You can be mad at it. You can say it's not right. You can not like it. This is the reality of what we deal with. And if you're not in it, I don't expect you to understand. But this is the reality of what we deal with. And so
that's why I asked you. I knew I'd get it straight.
Appreciate Randolph for protecting me, too.
He did. He got you. He got you there, thankfully. Jeff Capel, Pittsburgh head coach. Great seeing you, Jeff. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
We'll be next, the final team of the day. The North Carolina Tar Heels. I can't wait to see this one.
Jeff just can't wait to
just licking their chops. Next.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night, with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens. The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 Opening Day Marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68, opening day.
All right, Jeff Goodman back here for our final team of the day. Remember, we go all day today, tomorrow 9 till 4 p.m. But we have the North Carolina Tar Heels up next. So, like, I'm surrounded. I feel like completely, I don't know, dirty or something with 4 Tar Heels around here. Hansbrough, Henson, Trimble, Vasar.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Vasar. I don't know, but he had the pronunciation right. Go ahead, say it.
Vasar.
There it is. How you guys doing?
Great.
Good?
Appreciate y'all having us.
No, it's great to see you again, man. You know what I think of you. You know what I've thought of you for years, and I know these guys really like you too. I think part of the reason why I love you is because you have completely bought into your role throughout your career. You've done exactly the things that this team has needed you to do since you've been in Chapel Hill. I hope now you have a chance to spread your wings a little bit more this year, because I saw what you could do in AAU ball back in the day with the ball in your hands. And I think you guys you have a new point guard, and you have a couple new guys that'll have the ball in their hands. But how do you see your role? Obviously, as a leader, we know what it's going to be this year.
Right.
But beyond that, on the court, what's going to be the difference this year for you?
Just being somewhat of a go-to guy for the team. I've been here. I've been in every situation. And I think HD really knows what I can do this year, just putting me wherever on the court during this past offseason and this preseason right now. So just being a guy that, when we need something, can go get it, keeping us in our offense, and just keeping a great structure for this team and just continue to lead. That's going to be the biggest thing.
I always said Baycott held you back.
I can't say, hey, listen, when you got the chance to
I got to take a shot at my guy. I got to take a shot at my guy.
Throw the ball in there.
That's right.
So, the scrimmage you guys played the other day looked good. So, you guys had some concerns. Sloppiness was the word you guys used.
For sure.
How you guys clean that up, or is that just kind of just you guys not playing together and just trying to get things rolling?
I feel like part of it was also we're kind of limited on the offense because you're only allowed to run certain plays. And going side to
Also
side.
like football. So
a little bit. Going side to side was kind of difficult against ice sometimes, so we were struggling to get paint touches as well. So we're really settling outside and kind of playing like going around the arc and not really being able to get it in the paint. I think that's something we kind of struggle with.
But also then I think, there was just some nerves there too. 11 new guys. So it was 11 new guys playing on that historic court for the first time in their lives. So guys had that nerves, guys were thinking a little bit too much, but that'll go away obviously with some time.
My question, you look at this team this year, you guys have added a lot of size. You got big men last year, very guard oriented. What do you think is going to be your guys' identity as a team? What do you want to do?
Identity, I'll let him find a word for that, but I think we're going to be a really versatile team because with how big we are, we have just so much variety and just diversity with even our bigs too. Like Henry, he's really able to space the floor, and he'll be huge for us inside out this year. Caleb is, a big who can really move like a guard, so he's going to be key for us. And even our guards this year, we're a lot bigger. And we're a lot stronger, and we can be more dominant than we were last year. So I think we'll be a really gritty team this year, and I think where we'll hang our hat will be on the defensive end and the offensive and defensive rebounding, of course. But
yeah, I feel like we're gonna be really good at in and out team because we have a great presence in the paint, and we also have really good shooting. We can put a lineup out there who all 5 guys can shoot it really good. And that way it's going to create space for anybody to drive in there and make the lanes open. I know Seth is going to enjoy it this year, having an open paint sometimes to drive into. I think like Caleb too, he's really good. Like when he gets in the blue and white scrimmage, we could really see when he turns it on and tries to drive into the paint, it's really hard to stop him without fouling him. So it was a lot of foul pressure, or you have to put multiple defenders on him. And if he passes it out, we have a lot of advantages there.
All right, I'm going to hit you with a completely loaded question.
Come on.
No, but you're going to try to get out of this one. I guarantee it. Give me the freshman that has stood out the most and why.
All right. Caleb has been exactly who I thought of Caleb to be. Just who else have people thought about him. So he's been no surprise to me. But Derek has been incredible all summer long. I'm sure this isn't the first time you're hearing it. Derek has been poised all summer long. He's been super aggressive, and he's been super confident. There's been a countless number of times where Derek has pulled up in transition in practice and, was bottom of the net.
Is that the best thing he does, is shoot it, or no?
I would say that, or like he's a very good defender. But I think another thing he does a really good job with is like when he comes off the pick and rolls, he stays very poised. He can like wall off the defenders, and he doesn't like he takes the simple reads. He makes the easy passes, like the little skip passes.
I'm gonna say it's shooting.
It is. That's the best thing he does.
Boy can shoot it.
Really,
Yeah,
he's
he
that
really
good a
can.
shooter.
He really.
All right, give me the quick lowdown, both of you, on Luka, because he's the one we don't really know about at all.
Luka, he's an amazing shooter. He made 4 threes, I believe, in a white and blue scrimmage. So that says everything you need to know. And he has a really good mid-range game of like a little mid-range pull-up. So I think that's definitely going to keep the defenders guessing kind of whenever they're guarding the pick and roll. Do they need to be higher on the level or being in a deeper drop? Because if he comes off, like if he lit somebody up on the screen and he's going to take one dribble and shoot it, like they're going to have to be, somebody's going to have to be there.
He's hunting in a good way, which we're going to need from him. He hunts it.
I talked to Jaren Stevenson's older assistant at Arkansas State now. He said that he was the most talented player on that Alabama roster. So what are you seeing from him? And are you guys trying to unlock that talent? I know you see it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll say in the last few weeks, Jaren has been incredible. Jaren has been incredible. He didn't have his best blue-white game, but from what I've seen from Jaren in the last few weeks, he's playing literally inside and out. Like he's playing in the post, he's doing all types of moves in the post, and he's just shooting the mess out the ball the last few weeks. And then he's also an elite defender. I think as Carolina fans saw last year when he gave RJ a little bit of trouble at home, it showed how he was able to guard such an elite scorer who was way smaller than him and anything like that. So he's going to provide so much for us this year.
This one's for you, Seth. Last year, the year before, kind of tournament teams and this. How have you used that to motivate you this off season to kind of drive you to be one of the teams that Carolina is known for, a dominant team? And what area have you focused on to improve?
It's really driven me. It's really driven me. I'll just say the difference of feelings being on a team like my sophomore year, the number 1 seed, had the potential to go to a Final Four, dominate the ACC, and then the difference with just this past year where you don't know if you're getting into the tournament or not, and you wear that name of North Carolina on your chest, it sucks. And it's one of the worst feelings that you could possibly feel. And honestly, it's terrible because we have y'all former players, we have former coaches, we have all this history that, you just want to win for and you want to put on for. And when you're not able to do that, is one of the worst feelings this year. So it's a huge driving factor for me. And I think it's a huge driving factor for the rest of the team because they're not part of this culture and history, and we don't want to have two years like that in a row. So
let's talk about something a little better. What's the discount for these guys at Ben and Jerry's on Franklin Street?
He's got double the price because they gotta support. I know they got it, so they gotta support the local business. They gotta support the local business.
Here's what I say, Mr. Goodman. I see my dog. If I see him in the store and I'm there, I'm gonna look out for him.
Of course, but if you're not there, double. Triple.
They can say they know me.
Have you looked at what they made?
If my workers doubt that they know me, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. So
you are the youngest, for those that don't know, the youngest Ben and Jerry's owner on the planet.
Yeah.
True?
Yeah, this is
true. 20, what do you know, 22?
21.
How did that materialize?
21.
How did that materialize?
It's always been a thought, just, try and start entrepreneurship as young as I could with my parents. They really pushed me with that. But my great friend, great family friend who owned the store before, the name of Antonio McBroom, he owned the store and he was pretty much ready to get rid of it. And he always kind of pitched the idea of that to me. And he blessed me. He blessed me to put me in a position, spoke with my parents. I spoke with him and we were just so eager to jump on that. But that's all because of him.
Very cool. That's very cool. Mm-hmm. I got one for you, Emery. So, how's it been riding around in golf carts in Chapel Hill? Have you rode any golf carts?
I have stayed away from all golf carts.
Why?
I have bad PTSD.
Tell us why. Yeah, you have a bad taste in your mouth from riding golf carts.
PTSD from golf carts. But yeah,
what happened?
What happened, bro?
Tell us what happened.
We had a golf tournament in Arizona that we had to attend, and I was on a golf cart with my teammate, flipped it, and I dislocated my elbow. So yeah,
You really did? Oh, I didn't realize it was that bad. I was thinking I was just messing around with him. Now I feel
You
bad.
just got a scratch?
No, I'm like, well, all right. What,
yeah. On my visit, I was like, when we were on the golf, like whenever I'm not on the golf cart, I'm literally like this. I'm like,
you're not going in it.
I'm like, just keep it like
want no part
drive
of it.
5 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, not more than that.
How much pressure do you guys face? I know Henson asked it, but like, how much pressure is there on this team right now for you guys internally of like, hey, we want to show these former guys. I mean, these guys want a ton, and you even saw a couple of years ago, right? What they did, what you did as a freshman, and what they did before you and going to the national title game, what it means.
Yeah.
You kind of know. I mean, you went to Arizona, you transferred to Carolina, you know as well.
What I'll say is we're doing an amazing job of ignoring all the distractions and that outside pressure, but that internal pressure, really wanting to prove to these former guys that, we can be one of those guys, we can be one of those teams, and we can be one of those groups to, make history like they did is huge. It's huge. And that's for every group at Carolina. When you come here and you see the history in your face in the gym, you see all the jerseys hung up, you see the banners hung up, you have no choice but to feel that internal pressure. So we really want to prove to them that, we can be those guys, we can be that team. We want to prove to everybody that HD is that guy, you know what I mean? So we're super excited for it.
I feel like part of it is also like everybody wants to be there, but it's not as much pressure. It's like everybody just wants to get there, and it's like an honor to put on the jersey and be able to represent it and like play for the guys that were there before you and come after you.
Have you gone in? Have you watched him yet? You gonna go in?
I watched him. Well, yeah, he's a great addition. I think you're gonna obviously provide a lot of holes that we need, especially with size. I like the way that you try to dunk everything. I'm excited about that. I think you're gonna have a great season. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah,
I saw the highlights. I see highlights, so but I do the podcast for Tar Heel 24/7, so I'm in the mix.
These guys want nothing more. I mean, they want nothing more than to watch you guys, win and go to a Final Four and all that. I think, I don't want to speak for them, but I think they're the biggest frustration at times has been like any former player, right? I mean, this dude played harder than anybody you've ever seen in the last 20 years. This dude was a defensive menace, ridiculous. So I think for them, it's just like that pride of like, if you play as hard as you can and you lose, that's one thing. But if you're not playing hard,
no doubt.
Am I wrong?
No doubt.
100%.
Right? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So, listen.
We walked to that gym.
Great seeing you guys.
Yes, sir.
Great seeing you guys. Good luck this season.
My Tar Heel legends. It's a great seeing y'all.
I'll see you guys this year.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been in Atlanta, Ohio State. So.
Oh, okay. Bet that. Bet that. Yes, sir.
All right,
Mr.
when we
Goodman,
come back,
thank you.
Great seeing you. Stop with the Mr. Goodman.
Goodman.
Stop with the Mr. Goodman.
Sorry.
All right, Jeff. Go, Jeff.
Yes,
all
sir,
right.
Jeff.
All right. When we come back, hey, enough. We'll be joined. Final guest of the day, Hubert Davis.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of nonstop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have the story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight. This is your moment, your rule. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is trending.
There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. it can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that. Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
All right, welcome back here at ACC Media Day, and just finished up with two Carolina players. They were fun, man.
No, they're fun.
They are
kids,
fun.
Yeah,
Seth is just so mature.
Yeah, he is.
Hubert Davis, official introduction. Sorry, North Carolina head coach. We've been stuck with a couple Tar Heels all day.
Legends.
And a professor.
Legends.
Legends.
A professor.
A professor. There you go. Now,
What did Coach Williams talk about when he came to see?
He covered everything. I asked him a question. He covered a long story. It was great. Then went to the question.
All right, that's awesome. Dude.
Imagine that, though. Tyler Hansbrough, the professor.
No, that's
hard.
What has the world come to?
So do they have to call you Dr. Hansbrough now, or
Doctor? No, we're not there yet. It's still professor.
Hopefully, we'll never be there.
Professor.
If we get the doctor, here's the
Professor's
issue.
far enough. We don't need to go that much
still
further.
uncomfortable.
Hubert, so we heard Seth say it, 11 new players on this Carolina team.
Yeah.
I just remember talking to Coach Williams. I'll call him Roy because he wasn't my coach, so I'll call him Roy. Years ago in Chicago at the Combine, and him saying, like, Carolina, what was special back then was they never transfers. Nobody ever transferred out. You didn't have this type of, you had guys leaving early. Henson wanted to get out as quickly as he could. We know that.
I stayed 3. Don't do that to me.
But now 11 new players in Carolina. Like, it's crazy to think about that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's everywhere. I'm not.
It is everywhere, and one of the things in recruiting, whether it's transfer portal or high school, it has to check two boxes. There has to be a want and there has to be a need. And there was wants and needs that we needed to address this offseason. And, with 11 new players, with a collection of the whole team, it is diverse. I mean, obviously you have returning players like Seth. You've got 3 freshmen. You've got some transfers. You've got international guys. And so we check a number of different boxes. But the thing I love about this team is that a burning desire, not only to be good as a team, but be good for this program. It's a team that's bought into this place, understands the importance of putting on that jersey and walking through that tunnel and playing out there on that floor. A very competitive group. And so it's just been exciting to coach them to start the season.
you guys seem to have, obviously we talked about the 11 players, but with that, your positional size has changed significantly.
I appreciate you saying that because people go, oh, you've got size. And I was like, well, I'll take it a step further. It's positional size. Obviously, we have size in the front court with Henry and Caleb and Jaron Stevenson who can play on the wing, James Brown, all that, Zayden High. But positional size, like our guards, Derek Dixon, 6'5", Jonathan Powell, 6'6", Luka, 6'6", Seth is a strong, big, physical guard. And so that's also a difference in this year's team, the versatility that I'm excited about on both ends of the floor. And I think it's going to really help us be where we want to be.
It's been a super correction because last year you would look at the team you had on the floor and Seth looked like a big, burly guy. He's going to step out with this group, and it's going to be 6'6", 6'8".
Yeah.
The defensive versatility, though, with Caleb Wilson and Stevenson and Visar. Pronunciation good?
Good job.
Okay. The ability for those guys, you can do some things defensively that you weren't capable of last year, not because there wasn't a want to, it's just because that size, that positional size, provides something different on the defensive end of the field.
Yeah, it does. You know, their versatility allows them to guard multiple positions, whether it's around the basket, out there on the perimeter. And so, you know, defending different actions, DHOs, ball screens, wide pins, flares, off-ball or on-ball actions, we have the versatility to be able to switch those things, put guys in different positions. And, I mean, we all know, especially, you know, like when you get out on the court, the thing that bothers you the most is length.
Yeah.
But also length that is able to move and that's versatile on the floor and that can move from position to position. So when you're talking about Jaron and Caleb and Henry and JB and Zayden, like, we got guys, big guys that can move their feet, and it's going to be fun to see what kind of team we can become on the defensive end.
Coach, is there, you know, with all these new guys, is there someone that has really surprised you so far in practice that maybe people haven't really talked about? You know, the new Luka kid, not a lot of people have seen him, or somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, Luka's been great. You know, he's an older player, 22, but, you know, he's a guy that can do a number of things with the ball in his hands and off-ball actions as well. He's experienced, he's tough, he's competitive. I'll probably the thing that is really, there's a number of things, Tyler, that has stood out to me, but the thing that I've really enjoyed seeing is you guys were able to spend a little bit of time with Seth. The Seth today is not the same Seth that he was 2-3 years ago. You know how it is. As you get older, you get more comfortable in your skin, and his ability and his willingness and desire to be the leader of this team from a guy that normally wouldn't say anything is huge. And so the way that he is led by his words, by his action within his own personality has something that I was hoping for, but I'm seeing it firsthand every day, and I'm just really enjoying it.
Coach, I have a close friend that coached Arkansas State that was at Alabama, and something that he said to me kind of shocked me. He said Jaron Stevenson was the most talented player on that Alabama rosters for those last 2 years. And it's about him believing that he can be that guy and be that good. Can you kind of explain to me what you've seen out of him and the process of getting him to come to Carolina?
Well, I mean, we recruited him in high school, you know, and so I've known Jaron and his family for a number of years. At 6'10", he literally can do everything. Defensively, he can guard 1 through 5. The thing that really surprised me, in a bad way at the moment, but in a good way now that he's at North Carolina, when we played Alabama, they put him on RJ. And his ability to get around screens and play on the perimeter, I didn't think coming out of high school that would be something that he would be successful at. It's the exact opposite. He was at elite at it. And then offensively being able to shoot from 3. He did that at Alabama, but he can post up, he can put the ball on the floor, he can rim run, he can get to the offensive glass. He's such a nice kid.
Yes, that's what he said.
Sometimes that hurts you.
No, that's what he said. He said, hey, look, like, he's such a good kid. He doesn't, he's
so nice. And one of the things that I've done during practice is try to map it out for him. And so I said, look, for you, from an offensive standpoint, I said, me as a player, I couldn't check these boxes, but you can. Get 1 offensive rebound, put back, get fouled, get to the free throw line, get hit 1 3, get 1 midi, get 1 drive, break out on the offensive glass in transition. And I said, those are just 5 things right there, and you've scored 13 points and you haven't even done anything. I have a list on my practice plan, and I talk to him throughout practice. You still need an offensive rebound. You still need to get to the free throw line to try to just get him to be aggressive out there on the floor, because when he develops that, he's a problem. I'm just telling you.
That's what he said.
That's what
he said.
All right, so no disrespect to any of the 5 of you, but none of you were the point guard, right? None of you were point guards. You were not a point guard. Don't even try to act like you're a point guard.
Oh, I'm a passer of basketball.
Combo.
Playmakers.
Combos.
We were playmakers. That's what the kids say today. I want to be playmakers.
I definitely had to pass on my team. I had to pass. on my team. Harrison and Z,
I had to trailer in a reverse to get the back swinging in the lock.
Listen, I had to get.
That's why I went with that.
I was not a passer. And we can all agree on that.
All right, guys. Tyler cannot. All right. Anyway, I think the point guard is still the most important position in college basketball. You have a guy that came in from Colorado State, and Kyan Evans, who we don't know a ton about. We know we can shoot the heck out of the ball.
Yeah.
He's done that already.
Yeah.
How do you anticipate using him? Will he be a guy that sees most of his time at the point guard position? Is Luka? I've been told Luka's probably more off ball than on ball type of player.
Yeah, you know, the way that I recruit and the way that we individual develop and the way that I play is I want as many playmakers out there on the floor. I'm positionless coach. I really am. The coach that I am is from obviously my personality, but two, my experience as a player. I remember Don Nelson, who was my after Pat Riley left the New York Knicks, and Don Nelson. I was starting with the Knicks at the time, and the first conversation that I had with my new coach is he told me I would never play for him. He said, the only thing you can do is shoot. He says, you need to be like a versatile player. You got to be able to handle the ball, defend, rebound, do a number of different things. And unless you become a basketball player, you'll never play for me. And he walked away from me. And I'm so thankful that he told me what I needed to hear as opposed to what I wanted to hear. Last 4 years that I was in the NBA, I was playing point guard. And the reason being is because he saw something in me and brought it out. So me as a coach, that's what I want. I want guys that can do a number of different things. So yes, Kyan will have the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
Derek Dixon will have the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
Seth Trimble will have the ball in his hands. Luka will have the ball in his hands. Jaron will have the ball in his hands. I just want guys that have the ability to be able to do that. And in basketball today, if you got one guy, only one guy that can handle basketball,
Yeah, you're
in trouble. You need multiple guys. We never get taken out of our offense, and we never have trouble if teams decide to press us.
Caleb Wilson, we know the hype that he has coming in. What have you seen from him, being able to watch him day to day and seeing his physical and maturity go take a step on campus?
Yeah, the hype is real. I mean, he's obviously gifted. His size and versatility, he's an excellent passer. He can score. His mid-range game is real. He can guard different positions. He can block and alter shots. Outside of that, the biggest thing for him, I really believe this, and I've said this a couple times today. If he ran for student body president, I think he might win. He loves Carolina, loves being a part of this team and this program, and loves being in college. He's the best teammate. I'm telling you, if he sat down at this table, the lights would be brighter than they are right now. He just lights up a room when he gets in there, and he wants to learn. He would go to you, John, and go, tell me what you see. Tyler, he will go to you and say, well, how can I get better? And he would look you in the eye. And for a guy who's a 5-star who has been celebrated so much, to be in a position to listening and learning, you don't see that very much. And so it's real. On and off the court and in the locker room, it's real.
That's great. That's great. Hubert Davis, appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
You too. You too. Good seeing your boys here too.
This is awesome.
Right?
I'm gonna come by.
When you gonna come by?
I'm coming. I'm there.
Oh, we got another one. Another one. That's too many.
They're everywhere.
Growing.
They're everywhere.
Point guard. Point guard. Point guard.
Point guard. It took long enough. All right. Hubert Davis, when we come back, Commissioner, ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips finishes out day one. And again, we'll be back tomorrow all day, 9 to 4. We'll see you in a minute with Jim Phillips.
The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of nonstop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day. Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have his story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight. This is your moment, your rule. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is Trent.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Humble podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride. There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that. The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day. There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that. Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have his story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight. This is your moment, your real. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is Trent.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Humble podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride. The college basketball season will begin right here on the Field of 68. At 8 a.m. on November 3rd, we will be tipping off the inaugural Field of 68 opening day marathon. 15 hours of non-stop basketball. It will begin in Rock Hill, presented by our friends at Visit York County. Plan your itinerary today at visityorkcounty.com. Winthrop will face off with Queens in the opener, followed by Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure. Then we head out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it'll be presented by Stanford Sports, who is changing the way people play and making sports accessible and fun for all. Murray State gets Omaha at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with Drake taking on Northern Arizona in the second game in Sioux Falls. Then it's back to Rock Hill for a showdown between Furman and High Point, with Merrimack taking on South Dakota State in Sioux Falls in the nightcap. Tickets for all 6 games are on sale now at the links in the description below. Field of 68 opening day. Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Hansbrough, Randolph Childress, John John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens. There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal editions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that.
All right, welcome back. ACC Media Day, day one. Had a hell of a day so far, boys. And we wrap it up with none other. Save our best for last.
I don't
Phillips,
think so.
Commissioner.
Give me those players back and those coaches.
Very, very true. Well, it's great. It's great to be here. It's great to have you here. And I will say, I think the ACC is back. I really believe it. I think it's back. I know everybody's looking at me like, what's going on here? I mean it. Wait, no, I don't BS. We know this. I'm not saying it just to say it. I believe the ACC is back. Now, is it back to what it was when these guys were playing? I don't know, but I think it's certainly going in the right direction, Jim, to where it's now you have Duke as Duke. You have Louisville that's got momentum. You got NC State with Will Wade. You've got Virginia with Ryan. Like, there's just a lot to feel good about with this league right now. How do you feel about the direction of men's basketball and where it's headed right now?
I agree. I've said it before. I've been restless because of these four guys and the guys that have played before. This is the premier basketball conference in the country historically. Right, and it ebbs and flows, and you don't always win all the games you want in the championships. You don't always get all the teams in the tournament that you want. But at the end of the day, the history is the history, and you can't change that. So I have felt a deep responsibility to do anything I could to help. At the end of the day, I don't coach them, don't play, and don't hire, and all the rest of it. But I can't sit idly on the side and watch a league that is so historically successful just be okay. And we haven't had a winning problem in the NCAA tournament. We just haven't. We've had an access problem. And that happens at times. When you talk about Bray and Boeheim and Bennett and Krzyzewski and Williams and Hamilton and Larinaga, I don't know of any league that lost 8 Hall of Fame coaches within about a 4-year cycle. That has to have an effect. It just does. The number of national championships, the number of wins, just the overall status of the league, that you had 8 Hall of Famers like that. But I really do like our coaches. I like the coaches that have come back. I like the 4 new coaches. You have 2 coaches that have no head coaching experience, but are really good in Jay and Luke.
Young.
Yeah, and you got Ryan and Will that have done it, that have fought the fights and the rest of it. So that has been really important to us, and I do feel good about where we're going. What kind of step that is this year, I don't know. You guys will talk about it and debate it, but I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can as a league office to help. 20 to 18 games. How we're using the network. What are we doing on a marketing standpoint, right?
But that's, Jim, the 20 to 18, is that something that you think is going to be in place here for the next few years?
I want to see it, Jeff. I do. Yeah, I do. Because I've also challenged our coaches to use those 2 additional games to help themselves look like a tournament team. And you get to decide that. I don't want to be overly prescriptive about that from a league office, but because some of the coaches are walking into maybe a rebuild. And so they may not need to schedule a top 10 or top 15 team, but others are having the ability to schedule a very premier, opponent. And what I would say is the best you can do is 500 in games 19 and 20 because you're playing each other. So that's the best you can do across 18 schools. Mm-hmm. This gives, again, our ADs and our coaches the freedom to really use that 19th and 20th former ACC game to help themselves look the part when it comes Selection Sunday.
Commissioner, when we talk about this league, and we all agree that they're back, we think there's going to be, we were debating 7, give or take 7 or 8 teams we think will make the NCAA tournament. That's yet to be seen. How much has the House settlement, you think, helped this league? From a standpoint of financially being comparable to last year with SEC, which is so dominant. This year, you talked about the coaches, and I was going to ask you about that. We know we got really good coaches, some with a really good track record coming in like Ryan Odom and Will Wade. But how much has the House settlement helped those programs get back? Because I think Syracuse is back, NC State's back. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about for the ACC.
It is, and you guys cover it really well. You don't know until you know, meaning that you have the House settlement. And so here we go. Who's in? Yeah. Who's got all the chips in the table, so to speak, and who is really committed? It's easy to talk about it in concept. And conceptually, we were all talking about, well, here's the rev share, and the settlement ended up being $20.5 million, $20.4 million. So what are the schools going to do? Because those are new resources, new dollars that they're going to have to come up with. And I went to a president's meeting about 4 weeks ago over in Winston-Salem, and we had all the figures of the school's investment in the rev share.
Really?
And they're in. And so it didn't matter if it was a private school with a lot of history in basketball or a public school that didn't have a lot of history, but they're all in. Now, the question, part two, Randolph, to what you're asking is, the local decision ends up being what goes to football, right? What goes to men's basketball? What goes to women's basketball? What goes to some of the revenues?
You get to pick what you're good at.
Absolutely.
Really, right?
And you get to decide. You get to decide. But I was really heartened by people being all in with the $20.5 million.
Were you worried that they wouldn't be?
You just don't know, Jeff. I wasn't, like, it wasn't keeping me awake at night, but until you know for sure that those conversations have ended up with ADs to presidents and presidents to boards, you just don't know. You don't know where people are going to go.
I think it's interesting. You brought up a good point a second ago. You were like, well, we have certain teams in the league that can schedule big-time opponents. These guys, for example, North Carolina, they can go and schedule. Has there been conversations with some of the other schools, for example, like a Boston College, who's really trying to schedule according to what they have? What exactly is the conversation like for some of those schools that may have a little bit more of a difficult time scheduling? Is there any?
There isn't. I would say, again, that's a local decision, but we had Palm and Lenardi and Kevin Pagua. I mean, we had everybody over the course of the last year, 18 months, advise us on, if the goal ends up being to get into the NCAA tournament, how do you put together a resume-worthy schedule, NCAA, basketball schedule, and so I don't know in that particular example, Terrence, just what a school like Boston College would do, or someone else. Coaches have a lot of say in those things. Of course. But you know what hasn't worked, right? What hasn't worked is the 13-0 non-conference. Right. What may have used to work before, because the goal was 20 games when you guys played, right? If you get to 20, you're in the tournament, guys, right? Because we're only playing 28 or whatever. That's long gone. That's long gone. So everyone kind of picks what they feel is best non-conference. But I have challenged them, I could tell you from a league standpoint, to do everything they can to play the better team. Because even if you get beat by a better team, it will prepare you to be a better team come ACC play. And if you're a good team in the ACC historically, and you play well, you're going to have a great chance not only to get into the tournament, but to make a long run. Yeah.
So I have a question about, with conference realignment, a lot of schools switching to different conferences. Do you believe that the ACC has put itself in position for long-term stability? I do. Well, one of the things is, through all of the transactions that happened during that time, we didn't lose any schools. Like you fortify the fortress by adding a few other schools, and that's what we did. In two new markets that really help us. They help us from a television standpoint with our network. We're one of only 3 conferences with the network. And it helps you from a recruiting standpoint to get into Texas and California. We're the only conference that's in the 5 largest states in the United States, right? So New York, Pennsylvania, Florida, Texas, California. That's beneficial. That's beneficial. And you can see what SMU is capable of doing with what they did in football in 1 year. And we all know Andy Enfeld. The guy can coach, right? So they're going to be in the NCAA tournament or knocking on the NCAA tournament door like they were last year. But long term, that's going to be a really good program. And Cal and Stanford have both had really good histories at different times. And I love Mad Dog and Mark Madsen, and Kyle Smith's an excellent coach. So I think from that perspective, absolutely. And they're all in as it relates to rev share as well. So the conferences, as we all remember, and I love Saturday afternoon football, but we don't play just football Saturday afternoons anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And conferences used to be, this was a conference formed in the Mid-Atlantic in 1953, May 8th, with 8 schools. Now conferences are nationally located. They just are. They're coast to coast, and so we go from a regionally based conference to a nationally based conference, and so I feel really good about what we did during that process. Sure. Yeah.
Commissioner, we're going to hop off the ACC and ask you about NCAA tournament expansion. What is your stance on expanding the tournament? Yeah,
and I'd like to hear what you guys have to say too. You're asking me all the questions, and I got something I want to put in front of you guys. To me, it is such a beautiful tournament. And from an NCAA standpoint, that's NCAA controlled. The CFP is not NCAA controlled. It's the crown jewel of all tournaments. It just is. And even when you throw the football piece of it in, there's people that love basketball and still feel like it's the best championship that is run, both professionally and collegiately. So we're at 68. I'm always into exploring and understanding and doing a really thoughtful overview of where the tournament is. It cannot devalue what we currently have, right? And so, how do you devalue it? First of all, you devalue it by putting too many teams in it, right? Which waters down the teams that do get into it, which also waters down the regular season, and then nobody pays attention during the regular season because all they care about is what happens in March. And you can't devalue it from a financial standpoint. So I'm not interested in shares overall in units being less than what they are right now. Mm-hmm. So part of this ends up being, what is the value of additional teams? What does that look like? I'm into a modest adjustment, maybe 4 teams, no more than 8 teams, to get to 72, no more than 76. And I've done the research. Historically, those bids end up coming to our league and leagues like ours. So that is a motivator as well. But I don't want it to devalue the regular season. I don't want it to devalue the overall unit piece of it. So we have to be careful, right? It's that fine piece of china that you only bring out once a year for a holiday that you don't want to drop and you don't want to break it. And I feel good about it. I really like our president, our NCAA president.
Oh, he's great.
He is great.
Charlie's
and then,
great.
He's great. Charlie's great. And Danny Gavitt, as good as it gets. And I think you all are familiar with Danny Gavitt and his dad and the legacy, and he is a basketball person.
I wish Charlie was doing this 15 years ago.
Yes.
We wouldn't be in this position if he was.
Right. What do you guys think? I mean, you guys played in it. So tell me your thoughts.
I like it how it is.
Yeah.
Personally.
Stay at 68?
Stay 68 because I think you brought up a good point. You just kind of explained it perfectly. You don't want to devalue, and it's not the crown jewel of tournaments. So adding more teams, I don't know if that's the right. And Jeff would have to change his name.
Jeff will have to get a new logo.
Yeah, but people said they'll think about it. The Big Ten doesn't have 10 teams anymore. They didn't change their name.
Yeah.
Why do we have to change our name?
Yeah.
That's on you. You're the boss. I'm just here.
We don't have to. That's
I'm
all
just
I'm
here.
saying. I'm just making the case.
He looks good too, by the way, doesn't he? In his black T-shirt.
Jim told me I could wear it. No, Jim was the proponent.
Randolph, that's a thumbs down. Randolph's giving you a thumbs down.
At least he has sleeves on this.
to walk around.
That'd be Dawson.
We're going to shut him down. What do you think?
I think it devalues it. I'm against adding more teams.
Got it.
And usually I think that, we got to figure out how you can get more mid-majors teams that have had a good year, not be punished for 1 or 2 losses. But no, I think the tournament's good if you let everybody in. I think you won't have those conversations or those arguments, and games won't be as meaningful.
Right.
Yeah, he's right.
And it'll hurt the regular season as well.
Yes.
Jim, and the mids can't get those games. They can't get a game on a neutral court anymore.
That's what
they
I
had
don't
the
like
MTs
either.
before. Now they don't even have those. So where are they possibly getting the neutral games against you guys?
Right.
I'm actually in favor.
Are you?
I am. I think you look at throughout the history, I think membership of Division I is increasing so much. And you look at, every other sport in Division I, you look at, 20, 25, 30%, somewhere in that area for postseason play. That's more so than anything because I do think there needs to be some caveats. Regular season champions of mid-majors who don't go on to win their conference tournament. I think that's a big thing. But I think with membership growing as much as it is, with a lot of these different schools coming in and playing in some of these different conferences, 76 to me isn't bad just because of the membership percentages and what you want for postseason play, at least what the NCAA has done typically.
I think it's coming whether we want it to or not.
True.
And
that's not opinion.
But my opinion is I'm okay with that. I just want it to be mid-major schools get a part of that pie as well, where it's not just the ACC, the
Power
Big Ten,
Four,
the Power
and
Four
and Big East. I would put in there as well.
Just so long as if we can find a way to, if we're going to add 8 more bids and maybe 4 of those be mid-major schools, then I'm okay with whoever wins the regular season in A10 or second, whatever. But however we balance that would be the way I'd go.
What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I would keep it as is, but if we expand, I would do something of maybe the Final 4 high majors playing against the Final 4 mids, because that's always the argument. The argument is always, well, should Indiana State have got in or Miami or whatever? Let them play each other. Let the final 4 highs play the final 4 mids, and the winners go on to the main bracket. I think that would actually add some intrigue. Like I would actually watch that.
For sure.
I don't want to watch the 15th place team in the ACC play the 15th place team in the SEC. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's fair.
nothing against
No, that's fair.
the power leagues.
Listen, it's fair.
The beauty of the tournament, the biggest beauty of the tournament,
The upsets.
is the upsets.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It's UMBC beating Virginia.
Yeah.
You know, it
stinks
Purdue
when you're on the
losing.
wrong side of it, though.
I know.
It
Of
does.
course it
And
does.
we've had teams, right? I mean,
Right. Of course.
we just have. So it goes back to the kind of the original question and some of the commentary is we got to be careful. This isn't a 90-10 decision where it's easy. Let's just do it, or
I'm
let's
glad
not
they
do
didn't
it.
push it for this year. I'm glad they took their time.
It felt too rushed.
Yep.
There's no way. Yeah, we have to study it a little bit more. And I do believe in access, and it's how I felt about some of the other championships, and that's what I'm pushing from a CFP standpoint, and others are as well. Is access and fairness in the championship, where young men and women come to a campus, and that's what they want. They want a chance to play for a league championship, depending on whatever conference they're in, and they want to play for a national championship. So when you limit, like we did in football for so long, to 4 teams and 136 are playing,
That was ridiculous.
yeah, that's
That was
3%.
crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah. So we're doing that at the right level, and there's other like field hockey on the women's side. I think we should expand that. We've got more teams playing, so I think you got to be cognizant of, because as you guys know, like that shelf life of a college player is short. It goes by like that. So you want it to be the very best experience that you can. Yeah.
There you have it. Jim
Hey,
Phillips.
Go
ahead. What do you got?
Hold on one
What do you got?
thing. All right, this group right here.
All right.
And I'm gonna ask Jeff a question.
Okay.
ACC Player of the Year honorees, multiple ACC championship titles, MVP awards, nearly 7,000 points scored. I want to know how much Goodman. This is the panel today. I want to know how much Goodman helped on all that.
That's a great question.
7,000 points.
I got a lot of assists
I know.
today. I got a lot of assists today. That's all I know.
Hey, I'll say Goodman's
believe
assist.
that?
Hey, he's assisting after the
I
playing
know.
days are over. That's for sure.
Listen, I do want to say this. Appreciate the 4 of you very much and the legacy that each of you left.
Thank you.
And all we can do is hand it off in a better place than what happened, and try to do everything we can. And this guy's been awesome. He's been a friend of his for a long time. Promotes and cares about college basketball as much as anybody I know. So appreciate being on with you guys today, and look forward to seeing you a lot more as we
We got a full day tomorrow.
Well,
we got a full day tomorrow, 9
then
to 4.
see you guys more
Maybe
often in
Jim will
November.
come back. I still wanted to hit you with a couple more questions.
We'll do that
So
next time.
If you have time, you're going to stop
You
by
got it.
tomorrow, all right?
All right.
Thanks for joining us. Day 1, ACC Media Day complete. Again, make sure you come back tomorrow. We got everybody. Everybody we didn't get to today, we got tomorrow. We got Duke, we got Louisville, we got NC State, Virginia. Loaded tomorrow. Again, join us, Field of 68.